Welcome to Novel Love Hearing. We bring you hundreds of novel audiobooks covering every genre and every kind of story you can imagine. Action? We've got it. Adventure? Absolutely. Horror? Of course. Whether it's the legendary Uchiha Massacre or outrageous tales like stealing Naruto's and Sasuke's women, you'll find it here. From epic series like One Piece, Bleach, Fairy Tail, and Hunter x Hunter, to countless other adventures, our library has it all. Love novels but don't have time to read? No worries, just plug in your earbuds, sit back, and let the story take over. Good listening, and happy hearing. After several days, their roles had reversed. Elder Wu should have been the anxious one. Seeing Jia-Ren's calm and composed demeanor, as if he were fishing patiently, Elder Wu couldn't help but feel anxious. He sighed lightly once more and recounted his experiences over the past half-month. Having been warned by Taoist Jia, I hurriedly left and hid in the South District. There are still more than a dozen loose cultivators in the South District, most of whom have been hiding underground and surviving until now. We've run out of food, and some people eat bark and grass roots to survive. There are also loose cultivators who kill each other for food. You might wonder, Taoist Jia, why they didn't go to the Five Elements sect. It's because loose cultivators are much weaker than the cultivators of Thousand Beasts Mountain. Once you go to the battlefield, your life is out of your hands. Unlike you, Taoist Jia, who has a rich store of food, I could only hold on for 3 days. The main routes of the Great Wilderness Market are blocked, making it hard to leave to hunt magical beasts. I usually ate a few roots and barks and searched the rice bins of loose cultivators for any remaining grain. I didn't find any food, but I did find coffins in the homes of some loose cultivators. Inside were the mummified corpses of those who had died from the evil infection, unburied. The bodies were well preserved. Starving as I was, and relying on the evil warding talismans I still had, I lost all restraint. In the end, I ate too much. The infection went too deep, and my evil warding talismans were depleted trying to drive out the evil energy. Still, it didn't resolve the underlying danger, and I was left neither human nor ghost. You must despise me, Taoist Jia. But I just wanted to survive. Elder Wu relayed his story. It was unclear whether he embellished it, but his experiences could only be described as tragic. Taoist Wu, your courage to speak of such painful experiences surpasses that of many. Jia-Ren thought. Jia-Ren asked himself, if he didn't have enough spirit rice, what would his situation be today? Would he have been forced to eat human flesh like Elder Wu? Or become cannon fodder for the Five Elements sect? In this treacherous world, the living are forced to become like ghosts. If you help me resolve this evil energy issue and give me 50 caddies of spirit rice, I will teach you the Seeking Demon Talisman technique without reservation. Elder Wu proposed. Seeing that Jia-Ren still hadn't initiated a trade, Elder Wu finally grew restless and made the offer himself. If he weren't at his wit's end, he would never trade the Seeking Demon Talisman technique. Elder Wu had lived comfortably and survived until now primarily by relying on his skill with demon spotting talismans. It was a money-making opportunity he wouldn't even share with close friends and family, let alone an outsider. Elder Wu didn't want others encroaching on his business, much less creating another competitor. Times have changed, and survival is now more important, he thought. Your price is too high. Jia-Ren stated, frowning upon hearing the price Elder Wu had set. Elder Wu's infection is serious. One evil warding talisman likely won't be enough to solve the problem. He might have to use 2 or even 3 evil warding talismans. During normal times, 3 evil warding talismans would cost 30 spirit stones, and 50 caddies of spirit rice 5 spirit stones. 35 spirit stones for the Seeking Demon Talisman technique would be considered cheap. An evil warding talisman sold for 50 spirit stones at the trade fair, that item alone would cost 150 spirit stones. Not to mention the 50 caddies of spirit rice, which couldn't even be bought with spirit stones. A caddy of spirit rice at auction could fetch the exorbitant price of 5 or 6 spirit stones. Calculated at the highest price, that would be 250 to 300 spirit stones. The highest combined price for both would be over 400 spirit stones. The price was outrageous. He's asking for the moon, so I'll have to bargain, Jia-Ren thought. I can afford it, but I don't want to be a sucker. At most 2 evil warding talismans. I don't have much spirit rice left. 20 caddies of spirit rice, plus 10 caddies of regular rice. Both parties argued fiercely over the price but couldn't reach an agreement. Eventually, both sides compromised. If 2 evil warding talismans can cure your affliction, I won't offer a third. Jia-Ren declared. 20 caddies of spirit rice, and 30 caddies of regular rice. Jia-Ren had an ample supply of spirit rice. He consumed spirit rice daily and still had over 60 caddies of regular rice in reserve. 20 caddies of spirit rice alone had not been enough to satisfy Elder Wu, so Jiren had offered an additional 30 caddies of regular rice. Elder Wu primarily wanted to sate his hunger, and 30 caddies of regular rice met his psychological expectations. 50 caddies of rice wasn't much. At worst, he could eat a tael or two less of spirit rice each day, or skimp on the corner worm's rations. What I want is the Seeking Demon Talisman technique. Taoist Wu, don't try to deceive me with an inferior product. Taoist Wu, you wouldn't want to attract trouble over this transaction, right? The proficiency panel could determine the authenticity of the Seeking Demon Talisman technique Elder Wu provided, so he wasn't worried about being deceived. It was better to state the unpleasantries up front to prevent Elder Wu from doing anything foolish. Taoist Jia, please rest assured. Elder Wu said. I have navigated the market for many years, I still have some reputation. Please wait a moment, I'll engrave the jade slip right away. Even though Elder Wu said this, he looked eagerly at Jiren, waiting for him to prove his financial capability. What if he handed over the Seeking Demon Talisman technique and didn't receive the Spirit Rice and Evil Warding Talismans? Elder Wu worried. As a talisman master, to avoid being killed by bizarre cultivators for his legacy, he never carried talisman crafting jade slips. He absolutely couldn't let those murderous bizarre cultivators take advantage. Though Jiren had done him the life-saving favor of warning him, he couldn't rule out the suspicion that Jiren might be a bizarre cultivator. These are evil warding talismans. Jiren announced, displaying 3 of them in his hand for easy verification. 20 caddies of spirit rice and 30 caddies of regular rice. Taoist Wu, please verify the quality first. Jiren took out the prepared bags of rice, one containing 20 caddies of spirit rice and the other 30 caddies of regular rice. When the bags were opened, the grains of spirit rice were full and emitted a rich, fragrant aroma. The quality was superior, not stale, old rice. Elder Wu leaned in and sniffed the rice fragrance, his face a mask of intoxication. He felt his hunger intensify, wishing he could eat the spirit rice raw on the spot. He swallowed hard and straightened up, not wanting Jiren to see his desperate state. After the jade slip for the Seeking Demon Talisman technique was engraved, Elder Wu tossed it to Jiren. He also took out a demon spotting talisman as a reference, his eyes fixed on the evil warding talismans and the bags of rice. Jiren stepped back 2 paces, creating distance. He activated the Spirit High technique to confirm there was no evil aura on the jade slip and the demon spotting talisman, then immersed his consciousness into the jade slip. That's right, it's indeed the Seeking Demon Talisman technique, no doubt. The demon spotting talisman perfectly matched the Seeking Demon Talisman technique recorded in the jade slip. The talisman was authentic. Upon activation, one could sense demonic chi fluctuations within a 2-mile radius. Here are your spirit rice and evil warding talismans. Jiren said, throwing them to Elder Wu, thus concluding the trade. After receiving the evil warding talismans and spirit rice, no smile could be seen on Elder Wu's face. In the past, if someone had demanded 50 caddies of rice and 3 evil warding talismans in exchange for the Seeking Demon Talisman technique, Elder Wu would have chased them down 3 streets with his magic sword. Now, however, it was he who had offered to sell his talisman crafting technique for a pittance. Chapter 52. The first attempt at talisman crafting. The evil warding talisman burned rapidly, purifying the malevolent energy from Elder Wu. 2 evil warding talismans swept away the malevolent energy within Elder Wu's body, leaving not a trace. This also saved Jiren an evil warding talisman. The transaction is settled. I shall take my leave. Just as Jiren was about to leave, Elder Wu called out to stop him. Taoist Jia, you've never made talismans before, have you? Do you have any talisman paper or talisman brushes? 50 caddies of rice wasn't much. Elder Wu would skimp and save, eating only 1 caddy of rice a day. At most, he could hold out for a month and a half. No one knew how long the war between the 2 sects would last, and his food reserves were far from sufficient. The fact that Jiren could offer 50 caddies of fresh spirit rice suggested he still had more in stock. Robbery was out of the question, he wasn't a bizarre cultivator. A normal exchange would suffice. Talisman brushes, talisman paper, and talisman ink? Jiren bent over backwards daily for just 5 of rice. He had no talisman-making inheritance, so how could he possibly afford dexterous spirit stones to buy a talisman brush and other talisman-making materials? The market had shut down, and the underground trade had cooled off completely. He wanted to make demon-spotting talismans, and Elder Wu was his only source for purchasing the necessary materials. Jiren looked at the 2 talisman brushes Elder Wu had placed on the stone table. One was an old talisman brush, yellowed from many years of use, the other was brand new. He also saw a bundle of 10 blank talisman papers and special talisman ink made specifically for demon spotting talismans. How much for the talisman brushes, talisman paper, and talisman ink. Can we settle with spirit stones? All three were vital for talisman crafting. If they were too expensive, they were worth purchasing. Elder Wu's face lit up with the joy of a business opportunity. After so long, business was finally picking up again. Since the chaos at the market, too much time had passed without any spirit stones coming in. His ability to hang on until now was entirely due to his substantial nest egg. The silver bamboo spirit brush and white wolf hair brush are both fine quality, increasing the success rate of talisman crafting. The talisman paper and talisman ink are all carefully selected and of superior quality. I'll only trade for spirit rice or regular rice, not spirit stones. Elder Wu still had spirit stones, but he had no way to spend them. 10 caddies of spirit rice for the lot, and I'll throw in 1 day of personal instruction. 10 caddies of spirit rice? That's too expensive. During the third auction, the highest price for spirit rice was 5 spirit stones and 4 fragmented spirit stones per caddy. At the fourth auction, the highest price was 6 spirit stones and 2 fragmented spirit stones per caddy. You can't think I missed the subsequent trade fairs and don't know the price of spirit rice, can you? Without hesitation, Jia Ren turned and walked away. Compared to the Seeking Demon talisman technique, these materials were far less important. It wouldn't be too late to learn talisman crafting after the war ended. The price is negotiable. 5 caddies of spirit rice for everything, and a day of personal instruction is still included. Besides Jia Ren, he couldn't find another loose cultivator in the outer city who wanted to buy talisman making materials. This was a rare business opportunity, he had to make the sale, even at a loss. Besides, a little more spirit rice could mean the difference between life and death for him. Would you accept corner worm corpses? Jia Ren didn't produce any spirit rice. Instead, he took out a corner worm corpse. Corner worm corpses tasted terrible, they were mostly shell with little meat. Jia Ren had been hunting fewer corner worms and had accumulated a stash of their corpses that he was reluctant to eat. Regardless, it was still edible. Elder Wu hesitated for a moment, then nodded. It'll have to be 5 times the amount in corner worm corpses compared to spirit rice. Keeping the corner worm corpses would just let them rot. Trading them away wasn't a loss. For 25 caddies of corner worm corpses, Jia Ren obtained a brand new white wolf hair brush, 10 boxes of prepared talisman ink, and 100 blank talisman papers, in 10 bundles of 10. A decent talisman brush was worth 10 to several dozen spirit stones, and 100 blank talisman papers were worth another 10 spirit stones, not to mention the 10 boxes of special talisman ink. Altogether, this was a haul worth at least 40 spirit stones. Getting all this for 25 caddies of corner worm corpses was an incredible bargain. I may not be a grand expert, Taoist Jia, but I've specialized in the Seeking Demon talisman technique for years. If you wish for my instruction, feel free to seek me out anytime. Having received food from Jia Ren, Elder Wu's attitude improved significantly. Exchanging talisman-making materials for spirit rice was only one part of his plan. Teaching how to make demon-spotting talismans was the real start to earning spirit rice. He himself had no experience in talisman crafting back in the day and had suffered greatly to learn the Seeking Demon talisman technique, barely managing to grasp the basics after 5 arduous years. Even with Jia Ren's talent, and with my guidance, it would take him at least a year and a half to get proficient. During that learning period, wouldn't Jia Ren constantly need to consume blank talisman paper and talisman ink? Once he realized the difference between having guidance and fumbling on his own, wouldn't he have to spend spirit rice to ask for help when he encountered problems? By then, how could I not earn spirit rice? Jia Ren exchanged sound transmission talismans with Elder Wu to ensure they could contact each other in case of unexpected events. After sending Jia Ren off, Elder Wu clutched the newly acquired spirit rice, eager to cook a meal. Finally, I have a proper skill. Learning to make demon-spotting talismans means becoming a talisman maker. Unlike short-term ventures like making bait, pest extermination, or renovating old stone houses, crafting demon-spotting talismans could be a long-term trade. Elder Wu's mastery of the demon-spotting talisman and his considerable wealth among low-level loose cultivators were the best proof of this. With the proficiency panel, it wouldn't be difficult for me to surpass Elder Wu's expertise in demon-spotting talismans. Given time, I'm bound to surpass my teacher. First, I need to carefully study the demon-spotting talisman. It's not easy to start talisman crafting. The demon-spotting talisman isn't the most basic type, its entry barrier is quite high. I'll start by memorizing the crafting process for the demon-spotting talisman, familiarizing myself thoroughly with it, and understanding the key points of talisman crafting. To increase the success rate for any talisman, practice makes perfect. Consistent, long-term practice is the only path to success. Even a talisman crafting genius can't skip this process. I'll spend a few days familiarizing myself with the basics and mastering the fundamentals before I begin. I mustn't waste the opportunity for free guidance. Jiren returned to the abandoned stone house and settled in. Loose cultivators had almost vanished from the outer city, and the Five Elements sect no longer wasted time and effort searching for them. With extensive underground tunnels and his Grandmaster-level wind control skill, he could ensure a safe escape. The stone house is still more comfortable, it's not so damp. Jiren rested well that night, replenishing his energy. He rose early the next day and made a fire in the underground passage to cook, taking care to avoid attracting unwanted attention with the smoke. He practiced his turtle breath cultivation technique daily. Once his spiritual power was depleted, he carefully studied the Seeking Demon Talisman technique. Reviewing the old helps in learning the new. I need to learn talisman crafting from the basics. Ungraded talismans like cleaning talismans and path guiding talismans. Elder Wu only knows the demon spotting talisman, he probably never learned these ungraded talismans. Without a solid foundation, crafting the demon spotting talisman will be very difficult. Jiren wasn't in a rush. Without systematic study of basic talismans, he needed to practice the fundamentals first. The key was a steady hand. Not wanting to waste talisman paper, he dipped his white wolf hair brush in charcoal dust and practiced on plain paper. After 3 days of practice, he became somewhat familiar with the talisman brush. Time to start talisman crafting. All the key points of talisman crafting flowed through his mind. Jiren held the white wolf hair brush in his right hand, dipped its tip into the prepared spirit ink, and began to draw the demon spotting talisman on a sheet of blank talisman paper. The spirit ink didn't flow evenly, and his strokes were hesitant. The lines were chaotic, resembling a child's scrawl. Still, I have to finish it to maximize the paper's value. As a beginner, I can't expect too much from my first try. Theory and practice are two different things, after all. For a beginner, the focus should be on imitation. Trying things blindly will only lead to a low success rate, wasted time and effort, and minimal progress. I should buy a demon spotting talisman first to use as a reference. Taoist Jia, would you like some pointers from this old man? Elder Wu's face showed the joy of an impending sale. I don't want to waste this valuable opportunity. I'm just starting with the demon spotting talisman and can't even imitate it properly yet. Asking for guidance now would be a waste. If I only rely on external help and don't study on my own, no amount of spirit rice would be enough. It won't be too late to ask for guidance when I hit a bottleneck in my talisman crafting. Elder Wu wasn't annoyed. He stroked his beard and watched Jiren leave with a smile. As long as he's learning talisman crafting, he'll come to me for help sooner or later. Chapter 53, The True Essence of Talisman Crafting. Jiren returned to his abode. With the verdant flying dagger's magic artifact, he sliced through solid willow wood and began to carve a proportionate replica of the demon spotting talisman. Each engraved line was carved with 100% accuracy in its indentations. Not even the slightest error was permissible in his quest for absolute precision. After one day, having ruined more than 30 wooden carvings, he finally completed a piece to his satisfaction. A sheet of white paper was laid flat over the demon spotting talisman wood carving, and he used a charcoal pencil to blacken it. The white paper turned pitch black, leaving only the pattern of the demon spotting talisman in white, clearly visible. Done. Time to start practicing. Jiren picked up his white wolf hair brush and began to trace over the white areas. It was like using a calligraphy copybook for practice. The accuracy was much better than his previous efficiency. For 3 consecutive days, after practicing and honing his turtle breath technique, he would spend a lot of time tracing the demon spotting talisman copybook. The turtle breath technique has broken through. Without hesitation, Jiren applied the skill breaking point to the turtle breath technique, successfully advancing it to Great Grandmaster. The Great Grandmaster level turtle breath technique was naturally flawless, giving a sense of returning to the basics. His ability to preserve his life improved further, greatly increasing his sense of security. To improve wind control skill and turtle breath technique further, I'll need a lot of proficiency and skill breaking points, but there's no chance for that in the short term. I can focus my energy on other spells. The most important aspects of preserving life are escape, breath concealment, disguise, and defense. The former lets you stay away from and avoid danger. Defense is about warding off harm. Jiren had always focused on the former. Offensive spells? Jiren was not a bizarre cultivator who would engage in constant fighting and killing. He would avoid danger whenever possible. The metal finger technique had adequate killing power and was sufficient for the time being. The desired spell for disguise had yet to be found. That left only defense spells. Spirit Shield or Turtle Prime Spirit Armor? The Spirit Shield was inferior to the Turtle Prime Spirit Armor, with less potential for growth. As a secret technique of the Turtle Spirit technique, The Turtle Prime Spirit Armor boasted superior defensive capabilities. At the same proficiency level, the durability of the Turtle Prime Spirit Armor was twice that of the Spirit Shield. The flaw was evident. It only protected the body, leaving the limbs and head exposed, which was quite awkward. You couldn't possibly retract your limbs and head into the Turtle Prime Spirit Armor in the midst of battle, right? Could a higher proficiency level make up for its shortcomings? If it really didn't work out, the Spirit Shield could be a complementary defense. At the thought, a yellow-green spiritual armor congealed. The pattern on the Turtle Prime Spirit Armor was clear, resembling the etchings of a turtle shell. Proficiency level of Turtle Prime Spirit Armor +1. Jiren's spiritual power was depleted, so he traced the demon spotting talisman. The practice copybook's effects were astonishing. In just a few days, he could replicate the talisman with 100% similarity without relying on the copybook. Talisman crafting wasn't just about creating a similar appearance. A talisman that could be activated and used was considered a qualified spirit talisman. The demon spotting talisman had 24 spiritual power nodes, and each node emphasized a different type of spirit ink. The talisman had to be created in one go, ensuring the 24 nodes were effectively connected and the spiritual power flowed unimpeded. This was the true difficulty. Should any node fail or not connect properly, the talisman would be rendered unusable, a complete waste. Time to start talisman crafting. Real talisman crafting couldn't be practiced on common paper, as feedback was crucial. Blank talisman paper had to be used. Jiren took a deep breath, pulled out a piece of blank talisman paper, and attempted his first real talisman crafting. With several days of practice under his belt, his imitation was beginning to show promise. He skillfully sprinkled ink onto the talisman paper, and before long, a demon spotting talisman took shape. However, this was not a true functioning talisman, but rather a useless one that couldn't be activated. He compared each of the spiritual power nodes, and the situation was dismal to witness. Not one of the 24 nodes met the requirements. None had an unobstructed flow of spiritual power. I haven't grasped the basics yet. The proficiency panel showed no response. A failed talisman crafting attempt did not increase proficiency level. Jiren tried 7 or 8 times, all ending in failure with negligible progress. To avoid wasting time and talisman paper and talisman ink, it's best to seek guidance from Elder Wu. It's the only way. Upon arriving at Elder Wu's abode, Jiren smelled the scent of rice. The time had already passed lunch, and Elder Wu was still boiling rice over a small fire. There wasn't much rice in the pot, just a thin gruel. He brought his face close to the steam rising from the pot, inhaling the fragrance of the rice with a look of utter contentment on his face. When the water in the pot had dried up, he continued to add more water. He wasn't eating, merely smelling the aroma of the rice. Jiren watched with a strange expression on his face. In ancient times, there was quenching thirst by thinking of plums, and now, is there satisfying hunger with the scent of rice? Cough. Taoist Jia, you've caught me in an embarrassing habit born of hunger. Elder Wu's complexion had improved a lot compared to 8 days ago. 50 pounds of rice were not enough. To be able to persist for a long time, he practiced frugality every day, making do with the least amount of rice possible. Seeing Jiren's arrival, he was both surprised and delighted. Elder Wu had been waiting for so long that flowers could have wilted, and at last, his financier had came to visit. Talent and perseverance in talisman crafting are both very important, and not every loose cultivator possesses the talent for talisman crafting. He covered the pot to ensure the aroma wouldn't escape. I would ask for Taoist Wu's guidance. How to effectively stimulate the spiritual power nodes of the demon spotting talisman. Elder Wu shook his head and said, Taoist Jia, one must be down to earth. You must not aim too high and miss. You must start from the basics when learning talismans. Show me the failed talismans you've practiced on. Elder Wu was composed and confident, entering a field with which he was familiar, ready to dispense knowledge as if he were giving military commands. It took me 3 months to imitate, and I barely managed to capture 3/10 of it. Before he could finish speaking, Elder Wu was stunned into silence upon seeing the failed talismans that Jiren had taken out. Are these failed talismans? If it weren't for the lack of spiritual power fluctuation, Elder Wu might have suspected that these were successfully crafted demon spotting talismans. How long has Jiren been learning the seeking demon talisman technique? To imitate it to such an extent? Truly worthy of a master of replication. Cough. Very impressive. You have managed to capture about 3/10 of my skill when I was beginning. Elder Wu coughed twice, hiding his embarrassment. In talisman crafting, you must get both form and spirit right. You have managed the form quite well, but the spirit is far too lacking. Form is easy to acquire, spirit is difficult to seek. Words alone might make it hard for you to grasp. This old Taoist will craft a demon spotting talisman. Observe and learn. Elder Wu took out his silver bamboo spirit brush and adeptly channeled spiritual power to liquefy the talisman ink, splashing and splattering it freely on the talisman paper. Compared to Jia Ren's rote copying, Elder Wu's movements were smooth and flowing, executed in one go. His spiritual energy was infused into the talisman paper with the talisman brush, embedding its soul. Upon finishing, the spirit ink on the talisman paper seemed to come to life, spiritual light gleaming from it before finally settling into stillness. A demon spotting talisman was completed. Jia Ren memorized Elder Wu's moves, pondering them repeatedly. "Give it a try." Jia Ren nodded, and the light from his spirit shield and turtle prime spirit armor shone on his body. Elder Wu wore a speechless expression. "Isn't that a bit too obvious, his defense against me? Am I someone who would stab him in the back?" Jia Ren felt a bit more at ease. Taking up his wolf hair brush, he mimicked Elder Wu's posture and began to craft the demon spotting talisman. Within the time it takes to brew half a cup of tea, the drawing of the demon spotting talisman was completed. The result was the same as before, not a glimmer of spiritual light. You have not truly integrated your heart and mind. Your heart and mind must become one with the talisman brush, as the spirit ink is infused with your essence, energy, and spirit. Remember, you are creating. The moment you treat talisman crafting as the act of creating life, that's when you'll truly comprehend the essence of talisman crafting. Chapter 54, The End of the War. Inject essence, energy, and spirit. Consider it as creating a living being? Jia Ren's realm was too far behind Elder Wu's, and when he tried to comprehend it by himself, he could not grasp the essence for a long time. This piece of advice could save him from taking many detours. In talisman crafting, you must start with the basics, and each spiritual power node is the foundation. Without a solid foundation, how can you expect to construct a high building? Elder Wu taught with all his heart and did not withhold any secrets. If it were a loose cultivator with ulterior motives, they would have hidden their knowledge and hoped you learned as slowly as possible. After several attempts at crafting, with Elder Wu providing guidance from the side, Jia Ren made significant progress, able to create up to 7 standard spiritual power nodes. "It's getting late, I won't keep you for dinner." Elder Wu, who had been talking for half a day and was parched and tired, issued an eviction order. Having someone to point out the way is indeed different from having no guidance at all. Jia Ren felt mentally exhausted, as focusing his mind on crafting talismans was completely different from high imitation and especially tiring. For the following days, he focused on self-study. Building spiritual power nodes was the main focus, with connecting them secondary to lay down the foundation. After 7 consecutive days, he successfully created 24 flawless spiritual power nodes. The next challenge was to connect these spiritual power nodes seamlessly in one go. This proved to be difficult for Jia Ren, who tried 10 times without success and went to inquire further. Unlike the previous time, there would be a fee. "You managed to create 24 flawless spiritual power nodes?" Seeing Jia Ren's arrival and the prospect of spirit rice, Elder Wu's initial joy quickly solidified on his face. Wasn't that progress too fast? It took him nearly 2 years to reach that level. Is this the gap between a genius and an ordinary person? The taste of the rice didn't seem as appealing anymore. Elder Wu silently added leaves, grass roots, and corner worm corpses into the rice pot. The circulation of spiritual power is like the circulation of the human body. You should treat talisman crafting as cultivation, and remember how you started your cultivation technique, recalling that feeling and applying it to talisman crafting. Elder Wu gave him hands-on instruction, without holding anything back. It's hard to go from 0 to 1, but it's much easier to go from 1 to 2. Having someone to guide you can save you from many detours. After 1 day of practicing, Jia Ren progressed at an astonishing rate, managing to connect up to 9 spiritual power nodes. "Thank you, Taoist Wu, for your guidance. This is the rightful fee." Without asking the price, Jia Ren took out 200 corner worm corpses and 5 pounds of spirit rice and handed them over. The favor of guidance was worth much more. He did not know when the war would end, and since it was not good to use too much spirit rice from his reserves, he had to prioritize his own needs. Jia Ren had a hunch that he wasn't far from mastering the demon spawn talisman, and he feared there would be no next time to seek advice. Elder Wu seemed to understand something, his smile a bit forced. He'd accidentally smashed his own rice bowl. It took me 5.5 years to get started back in the day." Elder Wu watched Jia Ren's departing figure, speechless for a long time. Jia Ren consumed the Great Origin Pill for cultivation, practiced the Turtle Prime Spirit Armor, and practiced the Demon Spawn Talisman. He took the Great Origin Pill once, then refrained for 3 days, repeating the process. Time flew by, and half a month passed. Demon Spawn Talisman Proficiency +3. Holding a Demon Spawn Talisman that radiated spiritual light, Jia Ren's face was beaming with joy. "I finally succeeded. Jia Ren repeatedly recalled the key points of success, increasing the number of demon spawn talismans he produced, with a success rate of around 20% at best. His supply of blank talisman paper was used up. He needed to replenish his talisman-making materials. When Elder Wu saw Jia Ren come to visit, carrying gifts, his face was full of smiles. Come in, there's no need to bring gifts. In the northern district, besides the two of them, there were no other loose cultivators. Jia Ren was also the only person Elder Wu could talk to. The two got along harmoniously and had a good relationship. It was somewhat a mix of being both teacher and friend. When Elder Wu saw the gifts Jia Ren had opened, the corners of his eyes twitched uncontrollably. Leaves, tree bark, grass roots. Oh, and 50 corner worm corpses. Not too outrageous. Seeing Elder Wu's miserable condition, Jia Ren's concern for food supplies grew, and his daily food ration was reduced to 1 pound of spirit rice. He used the turtle breath technique daily to reduce consumption, with 1 pound of spirit rice enough to maintain high energy levels. The number of corner worms that ate spirit rice liquid mixed with tree sap decreased to 30. Only 4 poisonous spine insects were left, the rest were slaughtered and despined. The 3 exotic black mosquitoes that fed on insect blood were the most low-maintenance spirit insects, requiring no food supply. The expense of spirit rice was minimal, a state that could be maintained without a problem for 2 years. Taoist Jia's talent is unmatched, and I am ashamed," said Elder Wu. Seeing the demon spawn talismans Jia Ren had produced, Elder Wu was stunned for a long while. He had known that Jia Ren was talented, but to see a finished demon spawn talisman in less than a month was still quite shocking. Thinking that he was the one who had taught him, he felt slightly better. "We're running low on talisman paper and talisman ink." With a face full of shame, Elder Wu took out all he had left, 180 pieces of blank talisman paper and 20 boxes of spirit ink. He could attempt crafting up to 180 times, and with the current success rate, it was enough to elevate the seeking demon talisman technique to a skilled level. "Thank you, Taoist Wu, this is the compensation for purchasing talisman paper and spirit ink," said Jia Ren. He took out over 100 corner worm corpses and 5 pounds of spirit rice, then left with the blank talisman paper and spirit ink. Elder Wu was a good man, sincere in his dealings, and Jia Ren didn't mind giving him a helping hand. Having a bit more food meant a greater hope of survival. Jia Ren felt he had provided enough help, the rest was up to fate. Elder Wu looked towards the rice pot, with less than half an ounce of rice at the bottom, the rest being grass roots, leaves, and corner worm corpses. Despite feeling nauseous, he had to grit his teeth and endure for the sake of survival. He hoped the war would end soon. 3 months passed in a flash. The 180 pieces of blank talisman paper were already used up in talisman crafting, and miraculously, he had managed to create 42 demon spawn talismans. The level of the seeking demon talisman technique had increased to skilled, with a crafting success rate of nearly 40%. Unable to make any more demon spawn talismans, he focused more of his energy on improving his strength and the Turtle Prime Spirit Armor. The elixirs were all used up, and the Turtle Prime Spirit Armor, Spirit Shield, and Spirit Eye technique had all advanced to Grandmaster level. Jia Ren was still in closed-door cultivation when there was a knock on the stone cottage's door. He didn't need to guess who it was. It was unlikely there were many survivors left in the outer city. At least, Jia Ren had never seen anyone from the northern district other than Elder Wu. "Taoist Jia, great news!" Elder Wu exclaimed. "The war between the Five Elements sect and Thousand Beasts Mountain is over. Haha, I've finally lived to see this day." Jia Ren was startled by the news, suspecting that Elder Wu might be delirious from hunger, dreaming that the war was over and running over to report the good news to him. That must have been hard for him. Relying on 60 pounds of rice and corner worm corpses, he had managed to survive for 120 days. During that time, Elder Wu also received a little help. Jia Ren couldn't bear to give away the spirit rice, and he gave all the corner worm corpses he had to Elder Wu, keeping none for himself. Nevertheless, a mosquito leg was still flesh. Eating too many corner worm corpses, Elder Wu came up with new ideas. Roasted until crisp and golden, the corner worms became his favorite snack. When someone is starved, anything can become a delicacy. "Would I lie to you? I often eavesdrop around the inner city. Word has it everyone inside is going crazy with the news," he said. "The Five Elements sect has won, slaying the golden core stage spirit beasts of Thousand Beasts Mountain." Jia Ren stepped out of the stone cottage and could see far away the flying boats bearing Five Elements insignias flying towards the great wilderness market. Victory to the Five Elements sect. Cheers from the boats were deafening. Chapter 55, Transcendence into Sainthood. The war was truly over. Jia Ren's smile was radiant. Finally, the day had come. It wasn't about celebrating the victory of the Five Elements sect. Who won or lost didn't matter. The important thing was the end of a life spent not knowing if he'd survive the day. He had overestimated the duration of the war and, worried about a shortage of spirit rice, had economized on food. Up to now, he still had over 400 caddies of spirit rice. That was careless. Jiren wanted to compensate himself well and restore his previous supply of spirit rice. Taoist Wu, what are your plans? Elder Wu had already become as thin as a rail, every rib visible, and his shaky walk made one worry that a gust of wind might blow him away. His eyes stared blankly at the sky as tears streamed down his face. Finally, he had waited for the end of the war. He was extremely grateful to have met Jiren. Without his help, he would definitely not have lasted until now. I can't stay in this damned place for another moment. I'm getting on in years, with no hope for the great Tao. Continuing to waste my time will eventually amount to nothing. When the merchant caravan arrives, I will follow them out of the great wilderness and find a peaceful secular realm to spend the rest of my life. To hell with cultivation. Elder Wu vented the pain he had accumulated over the past 100-odd days. Staying in Great Wilderness City, it was hard to forget the unbearable past. If one is alive, why not live as a wealthy man, far from the strife of the cultivation world? After I leave, I'll hand over the demon spotting talisman business in the outer city to you. Elder Wu had always monopolized the demon spotting talisman business from stalls in the outer city. With one less talisman master, Jiren would get a larger slice of the cake. The outer city is deserted now, but that doesn't mean it will be abandoned in the future. Have you never considered that I might leave too? Jiren found the thought of leaving Great Wilderness Market surfacing in his mind. The cultivation world is vast, why stay in the Great Wilderness? Elder Wu looked at Jiren and smiled. The Great Wilderness is teeming with magical beasts. Elsewhere, your demon spotting talismans won't sell so well. You are naturally cautious and have an extraordinary talent for talisman crafting, you are sure to live a long life. My great Tao. You will continue it for me. Jiren felt heavy-hearted, the path of cultivation would have one less fellow traveler. Ahem, young friend Jia, could we perhaps make a deal? Elder Wu began, then hesitated. I can't enter the inner city yet. Could you lend me a few caddies of rice? After speaking, Elder Wu looked quite embarrassed. Jiren had held out for so long, he definitely didn't have much food stored up. If not for the war's end, he wouldn't have had the nerve to ask for rice. The melancholy in Jiren's heart largely dispersed as he silently scoffed. You've been brewing your emotions for quite a while. Wasn't it just for that last sentence? I'll lend you 10 caddies of spirit rice. Elder Wu looked at Jiren with a strange expression, not expecting the sly dog to still have so much stock. How did he not realize he should have stored more food? Otherwise, he wouldn't have had to live so miserably. With 10 caddies of spirit rice, Elder Wu was overjoyed, as if it were New Year's. After so long, he could finally have a good meal. Jiren quietly cooked 3 caddies of spirit rice, celebrating this new beginning. After nearly half a year of war, of the loose cultivators conscripted from the outer city, very few had returned alive. When Jiren stepped outside, he saw hardly any living people. The 4th district market was deserted, the bustling noise of the past long gone. Is the Five Elements sect going to abandon the outer city? Never mind that. First, I'll break through to the 6th layer of chi refinement. After arduous cultivation, he was just a step away from a breakthrough. For 3 days, he ignored external affairs, focusing solely on cultivation. With the aid of spirit rice and spirit stones, his breakthrough was smooth, and his strength increased further. Name, Jiren, lifespan, 31 out of 97, realm, 6th layer of chi refinement, 1 out of 600, cultivation technique, tortoise spirit heart 6th level, 1 out of 600, spell, wind control skill, great grandmaster, limit 2, plus, fireball technique, grandmaster, 656 out of 1600, spirit eye technique, great grandmaster, 329 out of 3200, spirit shield, great grandmaster, 247 out of 3200, sun locking technique, proficient, 196 out of 400, return to origin sword chi, skilled, 148 out of 200, gather water spell, skilled, 15 out of 200, tempting bait, fish, grandmaster, limit, plus, insect control technique, spirit, grandmaster, limit 2, plus, insect commanding technique, contract spirit seal, master, 2 out of 800, metal finger technique, great grandmaster, limit 2, plus, turtle breath technique, great grandmaster, limit 2, plus, turtle prime spirit armor, great grandmaster, 1065 out of 3200, seeking demon talisman technique, skilled, 10 out of 200, skill breaking point, 10.782 over 100 days of cultivation had yielded gratifying results. 6 spells at Grandmaster level proficiency and numerous spells also at the Grandmaster level. His efforts had been duly rewarded. My skill breaking point has surpassed 10. I can attempt a second limit break now. After consecutive breakthroughs of Grandmaster level spells, the skill breaking points required had decreased. Cumulatively, they had finally reached 10. The wind control skill, insect control technique, spirit, metal finger technique, and turtle breath technique were eligible for a second limit break. Without hesitation, Jia-Ren decisively chose the wind control skill. In this world, nothing is unbreakable, only speed is absolute. Jia-Ren lightly tapped the apostrophe plus sign beside the wind control skill, and the proficiency panel blurred. The next moment, insights into the wind control skill flooded his mind, and he successfully broke through. Wind control skill, Transcendence into Sainthood, 13 out of 6,400. The wind control skill reached a higher proficiency level, the unprecedented extraordinary saint level. With the wind embracing him, he seemed like a favored child of the wind, treading upon it as he moved. In the blink of an eye, he was dozens of feet away. To ordinary people, it appeared almost like instantaneous movement. Cultivators not using the spirit high technique would likely have difficulty discerning his movements. Too strong. Even a Grandmaster level wind control skill would be compared with the sword control technique. Having reached the extraordinary saint level, no one in the chi refinement phase could match him in speed. Is there an even higher realm above transcendence into sainthood? The skill breaking point cost for a second limit break is tenfold. A third limit break would probably require 100 skill breaking points. Even if higher proficiency levels existed, it would likely be a long time before they were reachable. Jia-Ren moved continuously, his figure ghost-like. His speed was so immense that he struggled with agile changes in direction and nearly crashed into a stone house. I still need to get used to this sudden increase in speed. As Jia-Ren familiarized himself with the extraordinary saint-level wind control skill, he unknowingly arrived at the edge of the market. Compared to 3 days earlier, the outer city still had few loose cultivators. The occasional person he saw was heading straight for the inner city, not lingering in the outer city. Wang Deu. Jia-Ren swept past like a gust of wind, his face a blur even to cultivators. He stopped and looked at a gaunt, shocked middle-aged man in the distance. The man was pale, his right arm missing, and several ferocious, unhealed wounds marred his body. Jia-Ren had a deep impression of this man. It was because of his pillow talk with a female cultivator surnamed Wang that Jia-Ren himself had decided to participate in the second trade meeting. The spirit turtle used to make the turtle spirit ointment had come from this man. Taoist Jia? You're still alive? Wang Qian exclaimed. Then again, you didn't attend the trade meeting, so you avoided the disaster. If only I had been as cautious as you. Seeing Jia-Ren alive and well stirred a complex feeling in Wang Qian's heart. Do you know how many of our fellow Taoists survived? Jia-Ren asked. Survived? They all died. Only I survived. This touched Wang Qian's scars, and his eyes reddened. Is Feng Wu still alive? I promised our fallen Taoists that I would avenge them. Chapter 56, Swap a Talisman with a Talisman. Wang Qian's eyes conveyed deep-seated hatred that cut to the bone. He was not just an individual, he also carried the will of his wrongfully killed fellow Taoists. Jia-Ren opened his mouth, feeling words stuck in his throat that he couldn't voice. Feng Wu was an accomplice, but the real masterminds behind the scenes were the Qi Yulong brothers. Killing Feng Wu is useless, the main culprits are still at large. Common people lack complete information, they can't see the forest for the trees. Even their revenge might mistakenly fall upon a scapegoat. Jia-Ren didn't tell Wang Qian the truth. Common loose cultivators lack the power to take revenge against an inner sect disciple of the Five Elements sect. Should something happen to him, it might even bring trouble upon myself. It is best not to speak too deeply on matters known only superficially. The truth lies hidden in my heart, awaiting the day it will be settled. He went to the inner city. Jia-Ren was unclear whether Feng Wu had died at the hands of the Qi Yulong brothers or not. Feng Wu betrayed us and traded our lives for his own wealth and honor, he deserves death. Thank you, Taoist Jia, for the information. Wang Qian gave Jia-Ren a deep bow and staggered away. Wang Deu, could you tell me about the state of the war between the two sects? Of the thousands of loose cultivators forcibly conscripted from the outer city, only a handful returned alive. The cruelty of sect conflicts was beyond imagination. Learning more details could prove useful when the time comes. Better safe than sorry. The Five Elements sect has imposed a gag order on surviving loose cultivators, hoping you won't reveal anything, otherwise, it will cause trouble for both of us. Rumors from outside claim that the Golden Core ancestor of the Five Elements sect has passed away, and Thousand Beasts Mountain sees this as its chance, bearing its fangs. The Five Elements sect sent the loose cultivators as cannon fodder to charge into battle and wear down the forces of Thousand Beasts Mountain. With control spells placed within us and a misty sinister chi in our bodies, we had no choice but to go. Those of us who were drafted early on are all dead. If not for my good luck, I wouldn't have made it back alive either. Wang Qian pointed to his wounds, indelible marks left by the war. The strength of the low-level loose cultivators was insufficient to grant the Five Elements sect an overwhelming advantage. At most, they served to deplete Thousand Beasts Mountain spirit beasts and evil warding talismans. War is not only a comparison of force between two sects but also a war of attrition. Once an advantage is established, it can snowball. The loose cultivators put on the robes of the Five Elements sect, creating the false impression of a continuous retreat, showing weakness to the enemy. Once Thousand Beasts Mountain stepped into the core territory of the Five Elements sect, the Five Elements formation trapped and killed Thousand Beasts Mountain's cultivators. Then, the Five Elements ancestor launched a sneak attack, slaying the golden core spirit beasts of Thousand Beasts Mountain, wiping out their elite forces in one fell swoop. Thousand Beasts Mountain only exists in name now, its territories have been annexed by the Five Elements sect. Despite the brutal war, only the outer city loose cultivators died. The Five Elements sect didn't even suffer a scratch. No matter how many die in the outer city, there will always be newcomers to take their place. Perhaps as a reply to Wang Qian's remark, Jia Ren felt a spiritual power fluctuation coming from the sky and looked up. A flying boat was approaching the Great Wilderness Market. Aboard the flying boat, hundreds of cultivators, some middle-aged, others young, most at the 6th layer of chi refinement or below, chattered excitedly as they neared the swiftly approaching Great Wilderness Market, full of anticipation for the future. It was as if the cycle for loose cultivators had just begun anew at the Great Wilderness Market. The Five Elements sect had brought in newcomers from other regions. They would replace the dead, becoming the new bottom-layer loose cultivators rooting themselves in the outer city of the Great Wilderness Market, breathing new life into the once cold, lifeless outer city. With a laugh mocking fate, Wang Qian left despondently. Under the fading light of the setting sun, his shadow stretched out long. Jia Ren did not pay attention to the incoming flying boat but looked towards the inner city. Compared to 3 days ago, the gates of the inner city were now open. 6th layer of chi refinement? No inner city identity plaque? Entry fee, 3 fragmented spirits per day. The price increased? Wasn't it 2 crystal shards before? The gatekeeping cultivator didn't even bother to raise an eyelid, responding indifferently. Enter or don't. Who knows when the outer city will resume trade? Jia Ren needed to enter the inner city to replenish his stock of blank talisman paper and talisman ink. After paying 3 fragmented spirits, Jia Ren stepped into the inner city. His original body had visited the inner city multiple times, always frequenting places like the Cloud Attire Pavilion and Bliss Residence for pleasure and amusement. In his memory, the inner city was bustling with activity, and loose cultivators in the late-stage chi refining were seen everywhere. Now, the inner city was just as desolate, with far fewer loose cultivators than before. There were many more shops in the inner city compared to the outer city, but the vast majority were closed tight. The few that were open for business were deserted, with hardly any customers. The prices in the shops were high. Jia Ren, being used to frugality, preferred to shop at street stalls for items other than high-quality necessities like elixirs and magic artifacts. Not all goods at the street stalls were defective, items of good quality and low price were not in short supply. Whether one could find a good deal depended on having a discerning eye. Is Datong Rice shop open? Compared to other shops, many loose cultivators were gathered around Datong Rice shop, with hundreds waiting to buy rice. Jia Ren looked at the erected wooden plaque, green bud rice, 5 broken spirits per caddy. Sold out. I've been queuing for 3 days and still can't buy rice? The gathered loose cultivators held wooden plaques with corresponding numbers on them. Spirit rice was rationed in the inner city, and people had to queue and take a number. This was also one of the repercussions of the Great Wilderness Mountain spirit fields being burnt down. Sorry, we have no more spirit rice. The caravan will bring more spirit rice in 3 days. Please wait patiently, everyone. Jia Ren walked past the shop and headed to the free trading area in the west. Stall fee, 2 crystal shards. Compared to the fee of 1 fragmented spirit stone in the outer city, this price was also doubled. Looking around, there weren't many stalls, and business was sluggish. War had caused many businesses to halt. Loose cultivators found their spirit stones only going out, with none coming in. Moreover, they had to buy food at high prices and thus had no spirit stones left for other expenses. Jia Ren walked through the stalls but didn't find the old Taoist Helvi who sold the insect control scripture. The old fellow couldn't have died of old age, could he? He was Mosquito Taoist's senior brother and probably a cultivator of Thousand Beasts Mountain. To obtain the complete insect control scripture, I'll inevitably have to deal with Thousand Beasts Mountain. How much for the blank talisman paper? Jia Ren passed by a talisman stall. The stall owner was a talisman master, with a faint scent of spirit ink emanating from him. His eyes scanned the table, which held many talismans like the Vajra talisman, Fiery Flame talisman, and Evil Warding talisman. Besides talismans, there were also the blank talisman paper and spirit ink that Jia Ren wanted. Are you a talisman master too? Your face is unfamiliar. A pack of blank talisman paper, 10 sheets, costs 1 spirit stone. Different talismans require different spirit inks. I can mix most spirit inks on the spot. Which talismans do you specialize in? Guessing that Jia Ren was also a talisman maker, the owner's attitude became much warmer. Demon Spawn talisman. Jia Ren's gaze glided over several talismans, examining them closely. Since he had begun talisman crafting, his perspective on examining talismans had changed. He now pondered the others' talisman crafting techniques to learn from them. Elder Wu's Demon Spawn talismans? The stall owner seemed to know Elder Wu and looked at Jia Ren with a peculiar expression. What is your relationship with Elder Wu? That old man guards the Demon Spawn talisman jealously and wouldn't teach it to anyone else. Could it be that he died at your hands? Don't worry, his life or death is none of my concern. I'm quite interested in the Demon Spawn talisman. Would you be willing to trade talisman for talisman? The inheritance you receive must not be complete. You can choose a talisman from the stall to exchange. Jia Ren was indeed very interested in the owner's offer to trade talisman for talisman, his gaze instantly locking onto the Evil Warding talisman. This is a treasure. It can be traded. Except for the Evil Warding talisman. The stall owner first excluded the most coveted option, and Jia Ren immediately lost all interest. The fact that the other party wants to trade for the Demon Spawn talisman suggests it's quite valuable. I don't want to make a losing deal before understanding the situation fully. Chapter 57, Risk Transfer. Fellow Taoist, don't be in such a hurry to leave. How about you choose any 2 types of talismans, except for the Evil Warding talisman? The stall owner, seeing Jia Ren about to leave, hurriedly raised the price. Jia Ren didn't look back, his mind still filled with many unresolved doubts. In the inner city, there were quite a few talisman stalls, more than 20 in total, yet not one sold demon spotting talismans. Could it be that Elder Wu possessed an ancient talisman? With this doubt in his heart, Jia Ren entered the Heavenly Talisman shop, which specialized in talismans. The price of demon spotting talismans here was not 1 spirit stone, but 3. Elder Wu sold them for 1 spirit stone, while the Heavenly Talisman shop sold them for 3, a significant price difference. How much for blank talisman paper and demon-seeking spirit ink? The shopkeeper gave Jia Ren a second look. Are you a disciple of Elder Wu? The demon-spotting talisman inheritance he passed down is incomplete. A bundle of 10 sheets of blank talisman paper costs 1 spirit stone and 2 fragmented spirit stones. As for demon-seeking spirit ink, it's not for sale. Why would he allow a competitor to snatch away the demon-spotting talisman business? Thinking of the high demand for demon-spotting talismans, the shopkeeper gave Jia Ren another look. Fellow Taoist, what's your success rate for crafting demon-spotting talismans? Have you considered partnering with the Heavenly Talisman shop? We provide the materials, and you craft the talismans to earn spirit stones, provided your success rate is no less than 30%. I'm just purchasing materials for someone else. Jia Ren didn't want to attract trouble and turned to leave. The quality and success rate of demon-spotting talismans improve as the proficiency level increases. Working for others would also risk exposing my secret. I misjudged Elder Wu, thinking he had held something back. How do I solve the issue with the talisman ink? Jia Ren visited several talisman stalls, ostensibly to buy blank talisman paper, but also fished for information indirectly. He learned, besides talisman-specific spirit ink, there's also a more widely applicable general spirit ink. However, its crafting effects are much poorer compared to the specific ink. Loose cultivators with incomplete inheritances often use general spirit ink to craft talismans. The talisman's effects might be slightly inferior, but that wouldn't hinder leveling up my proficiency level. If need be, I can sell the demon-spotting talismans at a lower price. Let's go with general spirit ink. Jia Ren bought 500 sheets of blank talisman paper and 50 boxes of general spirit ink, spending a total of 100 spirit stones. After buying the talisman paper and ink, he made his usual round through the market to familiarize himself with current conditions. The hottest stalls in the market were those selling meat. The price of spiritual beast meat had more than doubled, yet, despite this, monster beast meat was still in high demand. Many loose cultivators rely on monster beast meat for food. Since it's not cheap, and the demand for beast hunting is high, demon-spotting talismans shouldn't be hard to sell. After paying a stall fee of 2 fragmented spirit stones, Jia Ren began selling his demon-spotting talismans. These were from his initial crafting attempts, so the quality wasn't great. They were significantly inferior to Elder Wu's and couldn't compare to genuine demon spotting talismans. Though of lower quality, they were cheaper. At a price of 1 spirit stone each, he would at least break even. In less than 2 hours, all 46 demon spotting talismans sold out, proving much more popular than he had imagined. 10 sheets of blank talisman paper and 1 box of general spirit ink cost a total of 2 spirit stones, enough to make 10 demon spotting talismans. With a success rate of at most 4 out of 10, I can earn 2 spirit stones. Having a skill truly makes earning spirit stones simple. With the proficiency panel, my success rate in talisman crafting will only get higher. Earning spirit stones won't be difficult. The challenge was ensuring his safety and preventing others from targeting him. Should I find a proxy? A middleman could take on the risks and help sell the talismans. This was something Jiren had learned from Qi Yulong and Feng Wu. Finding a random loose cultivator presents the biggest issue: trust. There's no guarantee of safety, and it could even lead to disaster. Choosing the right person needs careful consideration. The only people I tentatively trust at the moment are Yang Shengwu, Elder Wu, and Yang Bingzi. Elder Wu is a talisman maker himself and will be leaving the Great Wilderness Market. Yang Bingzi, as an inner sect disciple of the Five Elements sect, wouldn't bother with such trivial matters. The most suitable candidate is Yang Shengwu. Yang Shengwu owed his entry into the cultivation world to a favor from my late father. He also saved my life several times while hunting beasts and has taken good care of me, thoroughly proving his character. Letting him handle the sales of demon spotting talismans, sharing a portion of the spirit stone profit in exchange for him taking on the risk, seems viable. This way, I'd be safe and could focus my energy on talisman crafting and cultivation. Where do Yang Shengwu and his family live? First, I need to think about how to convince him. The inner city wasn't vast, and loose cultivators all had their own social circles. It didn't take Jiren long to gather the information he needed. Are you asking about Yun Niang's family? A woman cultivator in her 40s asked. They're having a hard time. Her husband was bitten nearly in half by a magical beast while hunting and has been in a coma ever since. The woman enthusiastically led away, carrying a basin and splashing water from it as she went. Walking along the cobblestone path and making several turns through the alleyways, they arrived at a humble stone house. Property was expensive in the inner city. The better the location, the more abundant the spiritual energy. Yang Shengwu's income from hunting magical beasts was unstable, so the area they rented was relatively remote. With the household's main provider gravely injured and unconscious, life must be very difficult for them. I would never do such a thing. Get the hell away from me. A fiery woman's voice rang out. Jiren recognized it instantly. It was Yang Shengwu's wife, Yun Niang. 2 spirit stones at a time. It's not hard to earn spirit stones, and you wouldn't want anything to happen to your man, would you? A man's voice wheedled. If you change your mind, remember to come find me at the Cloud Attire Pavilion. A man with a greasy appearance, heavily scented with face powder, walked out of the house. Yun Niang looked furious, her hands clenched tightly into fists. The Cloud Attire Pavilion is certainly well informed to have found this place so quickly. Once they set their sights on someone, it's hard to escape their clutches. Other female cultivators, hearing of Yun Niang's refusal, gossiped behind her back, seemingly certain she would eventually succumb to worldly temptations. The woman who had led Jiren showed no sign of leaving, still holding her water basin, clearly intending to watch the drama unfold. The Cloud Attire Pavilion? Jiren was not unfamiliar with the name. His former self had visited it a few times. Most of the female cultivators there specialized in the arts of pleasure and experience hard to forget. Why are you here? Yun Niang asked, her voice cold when she saw Jiren. I don't have any monster beast meat to give you. She clearly wasn't pleased to see him. She had never thought much of him. He never focused on cultivation, instead flitting among women, a slippery character. Yang Shengwu, remembering old kindnesses, would often give his own monster beast meat to help Jiren out. But Jiren, ungrateful, took it for granted. It was only after they moved to the inner city that she no longer had to see this freeloader. Jiren knew his poor relationship with Yun Niang was his predecessor's fault. The body's original owner had often taken advantage of Yang Shengwu, earning Yun Niang's displeasure and her inevitable sarcastic ridicule. He had also liked to stir up trouble, once teasing her by saying it was a pity for a woman with her looks not to be at the Cloud Attire Pavilion. From then on, the two had been at odds, like fire and water. How is big brother Yang Shengwu doing? Jiren asked. Do you need any help? Yun Niang opened her mouth but, surprisingly, didn't make things difficult for Jiren. Ever since Yang Shengwu's accident, she had truly seen the fickleness of human nature and the coldness of the world. To save Yang Shengwu, She had pleaded with several loose cultivators with whom she had decent personal relationships, but none had been willing to spare even a single spirit stone. If not for our misfortune, why would the Cloud Attire Pavilion try to take advantage of our vulnerability? It's all my fault. I pushed him too hard. Yun Niang lamented, tears welling up. He went hunting magical beasts as soon as the inner city opened. Otherwise, this wouldn't have happened. Whimper, whimper. Yun Niang covered her face with her sleeve and led Jia Ren into the inner room on the left. A heavy scent of medicinal herbs filled the air. On the wooden bed lay Yang Shengwu, his body missing from the waist down. The wound was wrapped in white gauze, now stained dark red with blood. Yang Shengwu's face had a bluish tinge, he remained unconscious. The magical beast that injured him was highly venomous. The detoxification pill he took was useless. We've spent all our spirit stones on rice and grain, and we simply have no means to afford a higher-grade detoxification pill. Big brother Yang Shengwu has always treated you well. Please, help him. She pleaded. No matter what, any extra help offers a glimmer of hope. Big brother Yang has shown me immense kindness, I can't just sit by and do nothing. Jia Ren replied seriously. Chapter 58, Cooperation Achieved. Have you seen a doctor? Cultivators possess strong bodies, immune to 100 diseases. Ordinary poisoning and injuries can be resolved with the use of elixirs. Doctors have not been rendered obsolete, as medicine and alchemy are intertwined. Many doctors are also alchemists. The doctor prescribed purifying spirit pills, but I can't afford them. I'm only hanging on thanks to 2 doses of medicine. Go and invite the best doctor from the inner city. Don't worry about the spirit stones. Jia Ren spoke a few words to Yun Niang, then waited quietly. Yun Niang hesitated for a moment but still went to fetch a doctor. In less than the time it takes to drink half a cup of tea, she returned with a doctor, an older man with a white, peppered beard. The situation is very severe. The doctor stated gravely. If delayed for another 2 days, the poison will penetrate deep into the bone marrow, and there will be no hope of recovery. The poison from the blue flower poisonous beast can only be countered by high-grade detoxification pills like the purifying spirit pill, and those are not cheap. Once the poison is neutralized, treating the broken leg won't be difficult. The bone-continuing jade paste, the resurrection pill, and the life creation pill can all regenerate severed limbs. The doctor offered his suggestions and solutions. Do you have purifying spirit pills and bone-continuing jade paste? Jia Ren asked. The life creation pill was a legendary, top-tier elixir. Even if it were available, Jia Ren knew he couldn't afford it. The other options weren't overly expensive. Jia Ren still had 500 spirit stones, so purchasing the necessary elixirs wouldn't be a problem. The purifying spirit pill is 30 spirit stones. Many cultivators were disabled in the wars between sects, so the cheaper bone-continuing jade paste sold out. Due to a lack of materials, there is still none in stock. The resurrection pill is a first-order, superior-grade spirit pill. It's capable of restoring a severed limb in at most half a day but is much more expensive, costing 80 spirit stones. The total price was not outrageous, 110 spirit stones were still within his affordable range. Please proceed with a treatment, doctor. Jia Ren respectfully handed over 115 spirit stones, the extra 5 spirit stones were the doctor's consultation fee. With spirit stones, things proceeded smoothly. The doctor took out a purifying spirit pill to administer for the poison. The purifying spirit pill was highly effective. The poisonous aura wreathing Yang Shengwu's face visibly retreated. The doctor then removed the blood-soaked gauze and cleaned the bone fragments from the wound. Yang Shengwu was given the resurrection pill, and its medicinal power was activated. At the wound site, bone and new flesh grew rapidly. It wouldn't take long for the severed limb to be fully restored. This was Jia Ren's first time witnessing such a scene, and he couldn't help but marvel. This is indeed the cultivation world, one couldn't judge it by the experiences of a previous life. In less than 3 hours, a new, fair-skinned thigh had grown, starkly contrasting with Yang Shengwu's otherwise dark complexion. The poison has been cleared, but he will need some more time to awaken. This old one shall take his leave. The doctor said. Thank you, doctor. Seeing Yang Shengwu recovering, Yun Niang's eyes reddened. She wiped away her tears and gave Jia Ren a deep bow. Jia Ren, your spirit stones. I'll find a way to repay you. She had never imagined that Jia Ren would be the one to save her husband. Brother Yang has helped me greatly. It's only right that I help him in return. Jia Ren said. Jia Ren. You're still alive. Cough. I'm not dead either. Our lives are certainly tough. Yang Shengwu, as if hearing Jia Ren's name, gradually regained consciousness. I'm still alive? My leg. It's been restored too. We have no spirit stones left at home. Jia Ren must have helped. Jia Ren, as soon as I left the inner city, I went to find you. Your place had been empty for so long, I thought you were dead. It's good that you're alive. I'll repay your spirit stones as soon as possible. Monster beast meat sells for a high price. Once my injuries heal, I'll go hunt magical beasts. Repaying your spirit stones won't be difficult. Yun Niang opened her mouth as if to object, but then hesitated and said nothing. Her husband was the family's pillar. If he didn't hunt magical beasts, they'd have no food for their pot. If not for this, she wouldn't have pushed Yang Shengwu to go hunting magical beasts in the first place. There's no rush to repay the spirit stones, Brother Yang. You should think about the future. You are lucky to return alive from this magical beast hunt. But what about next time? If an accident happens, what will sister-in-law Yun do? The Cloud Attire Pavilion even came looking for you. Before Jia Ren could finish, Yun Niang shot him a sharp glare. Yang Shengwu opened his mouth but was speechless. He faced the same dilemma Jia Ren had initially. He had no particular skills. Apart from hunting magical beasts, he had no other way to earn spirit stones. Do you have a solution? I have a business venture, and I'll need Brother Yang's help. Upon hearing this, Yang Shengwu seemed to guess something. You're not planning to open a brothel, are you? I can't bring myself to force women into that. Jia Ren was at a loss for words. Is my reputation really that bad? He could feel Yun Niang's unfriendly gaze. For someone with no particular skills to earn substantial spirit stones, the methods were usually deceit, swindling, or other shady, quick money schemes. Given that Jia Ren had frequented the flower lanes for years, transitioning from a client to a brothel operator wouldn't be out of character. It was no wonder Yang Shengwu had jumped to that conclusion. Ahem. Brother Yang, you've misunderstood. I'm a talisman maker. I plan to sell demon spotting talismans in the inner city, and I'll need your help. Hunting magical beasts is too dangerous. The roles of hunter and prey can switch at any moment. It's not a sustainable livelihood. Before coming, Jia Ren had wondered how to convince Yang Shengwu. Now, this should work. A talisman maker? Huh? Your cultivation level. You've broken through to the 6th layer of chi refinement? How's that possible? Yang Shengwu had only just noticed a change in Jia Ren's cultivation level and was visibly astonished. Your cultivation level has improved so quickly? How did you become a talisman maker? Just half a year ago, Jia Ren had broken through to the 4th layer of chi refinement. How much time had passed for him to make 2 consecutive breakthroughs to the 5th and then the 6th layer? After asking, Yang Shengwu realized his gaffe. Jia Ren must have had his own fortuitous encounters. Prying into someone else's opportunities was a great taboo in the cultivation world. I obtained Elder Wu's talisman crafting techniques. I can make demon spotting talismans, but that hardly makes me a true talisman maker. Since they would be collaborating long-term, there was no need for him to hide this. A talisman maker. Hey. Jia Ren, you've really made something of yourself. The old master's spirit in heaven will be at peace. You don't have inner city residency yet, so entering costs spirit stones each time. I'll sell them for you. You don't need to give me any spirit stones for it. Yang Shengwu stared at Jia Ren, grinning foolishly. Yun Niang's gaze toward Jia Ren also changed. Formations, elixirs, tools, and talismans, the 4 arts of cultivation, were exceedingly precious. It was difficult for low-ranking loose cultivators to obtain their legacies. Even mastering a single type of talisman made one a respected talisman maker, a status vastly different from before. Brother Yang, this isn't just helping out for a day or two. How could I let you work for nothing? Besides, the daily stall fee isn't a small sum. Moreover, even if you don't consider yourself, you must think of sister-in-law. You manage the stall, sell the talismans, and also help me purchase talisman-making materials. I'll take 70% of the profits, and you'll take 30%. You'll also bear the risk of being targeted by others. Even so, the danger is far less than hunting magical beasts. Jia Ren laid out the benefits and risks clearly, only then could their cooperation be stable. Partnerships based on mere sentiment often collapsed. Only when both parties stood to profit could an alliance be long-lasting and stable. 10%. That's enough. It's just manning a stall. Giving him too small a share would make long-term cooperation impossible. Exchanging a portion of the profits for Yang Shengwu's safety and commitment was well worth it. Brother Yang, expenses in the inner city are high. Sister-in-law shouldn't have to endure hardship with you. Rest well for now. In a few days, I'll bring you the demon spotting talismans. After saying this, Jia Ren turned and left. Yang Shengwu and Yun Niang watched his retreating figure, sighing with emotion. Jia Ren has really made something of himself. Yang Shengwu exclaimed. Humphrey. Knowing him, he's probably off to the Cloud Attire Pavilion again. Yun Niang sniffed. That won't do. Yang Shengwu declared. Jia Ren has worked hard to become a talisman maker, we can't let him degenerate. Yun Niang, you should help arrange a marriage for him. Find him a good wife. Chapter 59, Demon Transforming Spirit Inc. Jia Ren visited the Pale Cauldron Pavilion before leaving the inner city. The prices of elixirs still seemed stable, without any price hike. 3 bottles containing 30 spirit bud elixirs cost 57 spirit stones, 1 bottle of 10 Great Origin pills was 29 spirit stones, and finally, he bought a purifying spirit pill for detoxification and the resurrection pill for healing. Having just witnessed the remarkable effects of the purifying spirit pill and the resurrection pill, he definitely had to buy one of each, just in case. To avoid trouble, he purchased the elixirs from 3 different vendors. The total expenditure was 196 spirit stones. Spirit stones really do fly away fast. Adding the trip to the inner city and the spirit stones he had lent out, the total outlay was 411 spirit stones and 5 broken spirits. His income was 46 spirit stones. The sky was growing dark, so Jia Ren quickly left the inner city. Re-entering the outer city, he felt as if he had stepped into another world. Compared to before he left, the outer city was much livelier. Newcomers were continuously arriving at the Great Wilderness Market. Loose cultivators could be seen excitedly choosing places to live, visiting neighbors, and enjoying a harmonious scene. The 5 Elements sect was quite generous, waiving half a year's rent for housing and all fees for market stalls in the outer city for 6 months. Were they afraid the newly arrived leaks would run away? Jia Ren hurried back to his lodging and saw Elder Wu sitting and drinking tea. After 3 days, Elder Wu's complexion looked much better. I've just learned some news. A caravan will arrive at Great Wilderness City in 3 days, and I will leave with them. Elder Wu said. This is my parting gift to you, consider it repayment for the rice. He added. Elder Wu poured Jia Ren a cup of tea and pushed a jade slip over to him. His Grandmaster level spirit high technique quietly activated, his eyes glowing white as he stared at the tea to confirm it was safe. This was his usual caution. Elder Wu was not irritated by this. He looked on with approval, his admiration for Jia Ren growing. Jia Ren picked up the jade slip Elder Wu had pushed over. He already had a guess, but still couldn't help showing delight after reading it. Demon Transforming Spirit Ink. The jade slip contained a method for creating a special kind of spirit ink, the same type Elder Wu used to sell to him. The Seeking Demon Talisman technique I obtained was incomplete, missing the spirit ink part. I've spent decades creating the Demon Transforming Spirit Ink, which has about 80% of the effect of the original Demon Seeking Spirit Ink. Elder Wu explained. From now on, you'll have to improve it yourself. I won't say much and thanks. Jia Ren replied. Jia Ren put away the Demon Transforming Spirit Ink jade slip and silently bid Elder Wu farewell over tea. The two discussed the Tao of Talismans, with Elder Wu offering insights into the creation and improvement of the Demon Transforming Spirit Ink, providing ideas. Have a safe journey, Taoist friend. As night fell, Jia Ren returned to his dwelling and began crafting demon spotting talismans. He drew more than 50 demon spotting talismans in one go, with 20 of them being successful. After setting up traps, he fell into a deep sleep. The next day, Jia Ren, as usual, drew demon spotting talismans until he reached his mental limit. After 3 busy days, his proficiency level in the Seeking Demon Talisman technique rose to master level. Master level demon spotting talismans had a success rate of over 50%. When he went to Elder Wu's lodgings again, there was no one there. Had he left? The Great Wilderness Market is not a kind place, perhaps it's better he left. Should I leave too? If he were to leave the Great Wilderness Market, he decided he first needed to earn a substantial amount of spirit stones with the demon spotting talismans. Without spirit stones, no matter where one went to cultivate, it would be difficult to make progress. Carrying the finished demon spotting talismans, Jia Ren hurried to the Northern District Market. The market had regained some of its vitality, barely reaching a third of its normal levels. The new loose cultivators were quite active, scavenging through the stalls for good deals. The previously vanished talisman, tool, and elixir stalls had re-emerged. The cost of a stall in the inner city was 2 crystal shards, while the outer city waived stall fees for half a year. This attracted quite a few veterans from the inner city. Naturally, the newcomers would need to be taught the harsh realities of life. Finally, new rice. We can buy ordinary rice now. The merchant guilds had brought in new rice, so the Datong rice shop now had both spirit rice and ordinary rice available. This greatly relieved the stress of food scarcity, and magical beast meat was likely to see a price drop. What pricey rice? Spirit rice is 3 fragmented spirits for £1. Even ordinary rice costs a crystal shard? 1 crystal shard for £10. Rice had indeed arrived, but the price was quite high. Spirit rice is expensive, we just won't eat it then. Even ordinary rice requires crystal shards, revealing the sinister motives of the Five Elements sect. Previously, they gave concessions everywhere, warming people's hearts. So the sickle lies here. Loose cultivators coming to the outer city from other regions are truly miserable. As soon as they arrive, they're stifled. This fits with the consistent style of the Five Elements sect. The price of rice is so expensive. Alas, who knew the Great Wilderness Market would also be a pitfall? The 5 sects in the Black Horn domain are in a chaotic battle, beating each other's brains out. I thought the Great Wilderness Market would be safe. Out of the tiger's den and into the wolf's lair. Jiren listened for a few moments, remaining silently speechless. Newcomer loose cultivators moved to the Great Wilderness Market solely to avoid disaster. Other regions weren't peaceful either, with sects and clans often warring over resources. The loose cultivators were in utter misery, fleeing here to avoid being implicated. Although the prices in the Great Wilderness Market were high, at least the war had ended. This was better than stepping into the vortex of war with their lives on the line. Moreover, the Great Wilderness possessed abundant magical beast resources, far surpassing other places. The Five Elements sect is not benevolent. Why assume that other sects and clans would be any better? Without strength, everyone is mere cattle and sheep. Changing places for safety is just self-deception. Poor Elder Wu, I hope he's unharmed. Jiren found a spot, spread out his animal hide, displayed the demon spotting talismans and the aged bait tempting technique, and then closed his eyes to recover the essence, energy, and spirit expended in talisman crafting. The price of rice was steep, and the price of magical beast meat had not dropped much, while the demand for demon spotting talismans remained high. 1 spirit stone was not a high price for them. The quality of the demon spotting talismans he sold was much worse than those sold in the inner city, chiefly due to the spirit ink. Newly arrived loose cultivators in the outer city had few spirit stones to spare and were reluctant to buy these inferior demon spotting talismans. He only sold 5 in half a day. Jiren wasn't in a hurry. If they couldn't be sold in the outer city, he'd have Yang Shengwu sell them in the inner city. His main goal for the day was to gather intelligence. In the future, he would not set up a stall, to minimize his public exposure. Taoist Jia, did you receive the legacy of Elder Wu? Jiren opened his eyes to see the visitor was Wang Qian. I'm just helping Elder Wu sell demon spotting talismans to earn a bit of commission. Jiren said, not wanting to reveal his identity as a talisman master and unhesitatingly letting the departed Elder Wu take the blame. Wang Qian was not doing well, his severed arm still hadn't healed, and his face was gaunt. Taoist Jia, could we make a deal? Could you lend me a few demon spotting talismans on credit? Wang Qian rarely asked for favors and appeared somewhat embarrassed. He wasn't very acquainted with Jiren, so asking to borrow talismans after just a few encounters was always a difficult request to make. Didn't the Five Elements sect give you any compensation? Having participated in the war, the Five Elements sect surely wouldn't be stingy with rewards to pacify people's hearts. At these words, Wang Qian let out a cold laugh, saying self-mockingly. They said they'd compensate each person with 100 spirit stones. But 50 spirit stones were deducted for an evil warding talisman to eliminate evil chi, and the cost of spirit rice and elixirs consumed would also be deducted later. In the end, I had no spirit stones left, I nearly had to pay them. How ruthless. One wonders if this was deliberate on the part of the Five Elements sect or if someone was simply filling their own pockets. Jiren saw Wang Qian's destitution. Are you planning to hunt magical beasts? Be very careful, and I hope you return safely. Jiren said. He passed 3 demon spotting talismans to Wang Qian. He didn't mind helping with such a small matter. But this was a one-time offer. Consider it thanks for Wang Qian selling him the spirit turtle. Thank you. Taoist Jia, I'll remember this favor. Wang Qian said, giving Jiren a solemn bow. He took the demon spotting talismans with his only remaining left hand and handed over a sound transmission talisman. I will repay you the spirit stones. If someone helps you, it's a kindness, if they don't, it's their prerogative. Jiren was willing to extend a hand when he was in crisis, and that was something to be truly grateful for. Chapter 60, Re-encountering Mosquito Taoist. After seeing Wang Qian off, Jiren gazed at the unsold bait tempting technique on his stall. When will I ever sell this? Will I have to take the loss? Zhao Wan, come back here. A crisp voice, like that of a skylark, rang out. Jiren noticed a turtle the size of a basin had appeared before his stall. It nestled by his feet, its small forelimbs placed on either side of its head, rapidly vibrating. What is it doing? A 17 or 18-year-old girl with a touch of baby fat on her face, wearing a goose-yellow Taoist robe, stood before the stall, looking exceedingly embarrassed. She opened her mouth but didn't know how to explain. A spirit turtle? My luck isn't bad today. Jia Ren watched the dancing turtle. Its head seems to have a problem. It would be perfect for making turtle spirit ointment. Ever since experiencing the miraculous effects of turtle spirit ointment, he had constantly longed to acquire more. Spirit turtle-type magical beasts were hard to find, not to mention the poor market for them, as monster beast meat was in high demand. It's rare to come across a spirit turtle. I can't let this chance slip by. Fellow Taoist, are you willing to sell this spirit turtle? Jia Ren reached for a piece of the bait tempting technique, crushed its wax coating, and tossed it to the spirit turtle. The spirit turtle's nose twitched, and it quickly swallowed the bait. The girl in the goose yellow Taoist robe looked at Jia Ren with an increasingly strange expression. What is this man up to? Not for sale. The Wanzi turtle grew up with me, how could I bear to sell Zhao Wan? The girl in the goose yellow Taoist robe sensed the Wanzi turtle's excitement. She approached the stall and picked up a piece of the bait tempting technique. She crushed the wax coating and sniffed it gently. Top quality. Although not a genuine spirit pill, it has a strange and unique fragrance. An imitation spirit pill primarily designed for luring? How much? 1 spirit stone for 2 bottles, 100 pieces per bottle. The bait tempting technique was hard to sell, so the price was halved. 100 bottles. The female cultivator was not short on money and produced 50 spirit stones. If you ever decide to sell the spirit turtle, or wish to buy more bait tempting technique, please let me know. Jia Ren wasn't planning to keep his stall open for long, so he took out 100 bottles of bait tempting technique and a sound transmission talisman, offering them to her. The girl did not accept them. Instead, she picked up the reluctant Wanzi turtle and turned to leave. An elderly, stooped figure appeared before the stall like a ghost. He reached out, took the bait tempting technique, and glanced at the sound transmission talisman. After a moment's hesitation, he put them both away. Perhaps they will be useful one day. The hunchbacked old man followed closely behind her, like a loyal old servant. Is this some young lady out for an excursion? Selling most of the bait tempting technique had removed a major concern for Jia Ren. Business slumped in the afternoon, with long stretches devoid of customers. Jia Ren couldn't be bothered to continue hawking his wares, so he left the northern district market and headed to the other 3 districts. Newly arrived loose cultivators brought specialties from other regions, most of them exotic, and Jia Ren searched for useful items. What kind of insect eggs are these? Jia Ren stopped at a stall run by a young man with a childish face. Most of the goods he sold were of little value to cultivators. The only thing that piqued Jia Ren's interest somewhat was a batch of insect eggs imbued with spiritual energy. I found these eggs by accident. Take them all for 3 spirit stones. Seeing a potential sale, the young man's eyes gleamed with shrewdness. He had intended to sell them for 1 spirit stone but decided to ask for 3. 1 spirit stone. If you agree, I'll buy them. I'm not sure what kind of insect eggs these are, but they're definitely spirit insect eggs. I'll treat it like opening a blind box. Alright. 1 spirit stone is acceptable. This is an unexpected windfall for a first-level chi refinement cultivator. You're quite lucky. For 1 spirit stone, you bought 3 green silkworm eggs. Green silkworms? Jia Ren glanced at the gaunt old man who had appeared behind him, exuding an eerie aura. You are. As the elder approached, the exotic black mosquitoes in the spirit beast bag at Jia Ren's waist became agitated. It's Mosquito Taoist. The exotic black mosquitoes still bear his spirit contract marks. His appearance is disguised, he no longer has that half-black, half-white, yin-yang hairstyle. You have my exotic black mosquitoes on you. Mosquito Taoist said, looking Jia Ren up and down with interest. I didn't expect you to get such a bargain. What surprises me most is, you're still alive. You didn't die at my senior brother's hands. Could there be some unknown peril with the insect control scripture? I've learned too little of it for it to have much of an effect. The insect control scripture contains the method to refine the life extension goo, something few can resist. Mosquito Taoist continued. My senior brother likes to use this method to fish. The life extension goo method Gate he spreads is only for the child goo. Those who refine the life extension goo ultimately just pave the way for him. You must not have received the complete inheritance. My senior brother is very picky, poor wretches can't afford to refine the life extension child goo. Mosquito Taoist continued to examine Jia Ren, a look of astonishment in his eyes. Last time I saw Jia Ren, he was only at the 4th layer of chi refinement. In just half a year, he advanced to the 6th layer of chi refinement, a talent worth nurturing. You have decent potential. Are you interested in joining Thousand Beasts Mountain to study the true insect control scripture? If this were in the past, I might have been tempted. But times have changed. Thousand Beasts Mountain is on the decline, joining them now would be like asking for a quicker death, wouldn't it? Mosquito Taoist noticed Jia Ren's hesitation and added. You wouldn't have to fight 5 elements sect cultivators. Just stay in the Great Wilderness Market and gather intelligence for me. If you agree, I can teach you the insect control scripture right now. Anything associated with Thousand Beasts Mountain is no small matter. However good the insect control scripture might be, it isn't worth the risk. Not interested. Jiren decisively refused and turned to leave. He didn't want anything to do with Thousand Beasts Mountain. The farther away, the better. To prevent Mosquito Taoist from launching a sneak attack, a 10-foot-tall projection of a turtle materialized around Jiren, the turtle prime spirit armor, leaving no blind spots. Its proficiency level had recently reached the Grandmaster level, shoring up his weaknesses and becoming his strongest defensive spell. Shrouded by a solid spirit shield as well, the dual-layered defense greatly enhanced his sense of security. With both the turtle prime spirit armor and a spirit shield at Grandmaster proficiency level, his defense far surpassed that of his peers. They were more than enough to ensure his safety. Having taken these precautions, Jiren departed from the market. Mosquito Taoist did not pursue, merely watching Jiren's retreating figure. Jiren used the turtle breath technique to conceal his aura and the spirit eye technique to scan himself and his surroundings, checking for hidden dangers or trackers. Just as I suspected trouble. Jiren found a few small insects tailing him. Their bodies were tiny and nearly transparent. Without being on guard, it would have been difficult to detect them. So persistent. A cultivator at the 9th level of Chi refinement from Thousand Beasts Mountain sneaking into the outer city? They're probably planning some trouble. I'd better hide out in the inner city for a couple of days. His fireball technique incinerated the tiny insects, and he hurried towards the inner city without delay. Jiren exchanged 2 spirit stones for a 7-day inner city token and then used 7 more spirit stones to rent the number 36 in-character cave residence for 7 days. As expected of a cave residence meant for high-order cultivators. The spiritual energy is abundant, and most importantly, protective formations ensure security. The spiritual energy inside the cave was far superior to that of the outer city, at least 5 times stronger, making it suitable for breaking through cultivation-level bottlenecks. Character cave residences even have access to earth fire, which can be used for artifact refining and alchemy. The downside is, they're too expensive. The exotic black mosquitoes also pose a security risk, it'd be best to deal with them. Jiren opened his spirit beast bag and looked at the 3 exotic black mosquitoes. All 3 spirit insects bore Mosquito Taoist's spirit contract mark, indicating a substantial risk of him tracking Jiren down. I'll give you 7 more days. If you don't lay eggs by then, I'll have no choice but to slaughter you. Jiren issued a forceful command to the exotic black mosquitoes, compelling them to lay eggs. In 7 days, regardless of the outcome, he would exterminate them. Chapter 61, 3 Spirit Turtles Green Silkworm Eggs. Jiren took out the 3 bug eggs he had purchased from the youth's stall and soaked them in spiritual liquid. He hoped they wouldn't disappoint him. He didn't return to the market to set up his stall, instead staying put in his cave to cultivate and craft talismans. The spiritual energy inside the cave was abundant. His cultivation speed was 5 times faster than normal meditation and even surpassed eating green bud rice 3 times a day. With spirit rice combined with the cave, it would be difficult for his cultivation speed to remain slow. No wonder the sect disciples and family cultivators improved their strength so rapidly. There was a huge difference between sect disciples and loose cultivators. At the same age, a sect disciple might reach the late stage Chi refining, while a loose cultivator might not even be able to reach the mid-stage of Chi cultivation. It wasn't just a gap in spiritual root aptitude, the difference in resources was equally vast. Jiren ran out of his small supply of blank talisman paper, turning them all into demon spotting talismans. The success rate of talisman crafting remained steady at 60%, with both the quantity and quality of the talisman showing noticeable improvements. The only drawback was that the spirit ink was ordinary, limiting the quality of the demon spotting talismans. He thought of the demon transforming spirit ink and started to study it carefully. Once he used up the common talisman ink, he could start using the new spirit ink. Brother Jia, this is the spirit stone revenue from selling the demon spotting talismans. I noticed the business for demon spotting talismans is booming, so I took the liberty of raising the price by 2 crystal shards each. The quality of the demon spotting talismans is slightly inferior, but that doesn't stop the loose cultivators from hunting demons. The business is thriving. If you buy a demon spotting talisman from a talisman shop, it will cost you 3 spirit stones. On the second day, Yang Shengwu found Jiren's rented cave and handed over the spirit stones earned from selling the demon spotting talismans. Jiren had supplied 110 demon spotting talismans, which had sold for a total of 130 spirit stones. With a success rate of about 40% for the 110 demon spotting talismans, it consumed 280 pieces of blank talisman paper and 28 boxes of common spirit ink, at a cost of 56 spirit stones. I promised to give you 30% of the profit. Adding the stall fee of 2 crystal shards, your share should be 22 spirit stones and 4 fragmented spirits. The talismans were all previously crafted, with the success rate still at 40%. Jiren, adopting an attitude of clear accounting even with close friends, took out 22 spirit stones and 4 fragmented spirits to give to Yang Shengwu. Yang Shengwu was reluctant to take the spirit stones. I still owe you more than 100 spirit stones. Consider this as repaying the debt. Not repaying a debt left him feeling guilty. Jiren said. Life in the inner city is expensive. We must first ensure survival. Then he proposed. How about this? You use half of this amount as partial repayment of your debt to me, and you keep the other half for yourself. We'll continue this arrangement until the debt is fully paid off. Would that be acceptable? Jiren had thought of this compromise. Yang Shengwu would effectively first receive 15% of the total profit. Once the debt was repaid, this would revert to the full 30%, creating the illusion of a raise. He had seemingly offered 30% of the profit, but in reality, Yang Shengwu would receive less for now. The proficiency level of crafting demon spotting talismans had advanced to master level, with the highest success rate at 60%. With the proficiency panel, reaching master and grandmaster level would not be too far off. Not to mention a 100% success rate, maintaining a rate over 90% was not difficult. Jiren dared not disclose his true talisman crafting success rate. A secret that revealed such rapid improvement could bring trouble if leaked. He reported at most a 60% success rate. Wouldn't the additional demon spotting talismans he crafted this way equate to pure profit for himself? Jiren then took out 111 spirit stones and 2 crystal shards, handing them to Yang Shengwu. Help me purchase 500 pieces of blank talisman paper and the corresponding amount of materials. Since he was delegating the public-facing affairs to Yang Shengwu, he decided he would not personally go to purchase talisman-making materials, wanting to keep a lower profile. Alas, I am already indebted for your father's kindness. Now, how am I to repay this? Yang Shengwu lamented. He held the spirit stones, they felt like they were burning his hand. Every time he went out demon hunting, he thought of the anxious Yun Niang. Each departure could be their last goodbye. He couldn't find a risk-free way to earn a large amount of spirit stones. He opened his mouth but found no words to decline Jiren's request. Brother Yang, we must be cautious when we meet in the future and communicate mostly through sound transmission talismans. I won't be staying in the inner city for many more days. You should rent a stone house in the outer city. I will place the talisman-making materials there, and I will also go there to pick up the demon spotting talismans you'll sell for me. Jiren hadn't forgotten his primary reason for seeking out Yang Shengwu. It wasn't to repay a favor but to avoid risks. If they maintained close contact, how could they keep it a secret from those with ulterior motives? Is such caution really necessary? Yang Shengwu asked. He hadn't encountered any trouble while tending his stall, things had been going quite smoothly for him. Do not be overly optimistic. Jiren warned. Jiren hadn't forgotten something important. Elder Wu had mentioned selling demon spotting talismans in the outer city but had conspicuously avoided any mention of the inner city. This definitely hinted at some unknown secrets or unspoken rules. By using Yang Shengwu's help to sell in the inner city, it was possible they had inadvertently violated some unwritten rule. It was better to be safe than sorry. These lower-quality demon spotting talismans were selling so well, inevitably affecting established businesses like the Heavenly Talisman Shop. Bad money drives out good, but who ultimately suffers the damage? This was a direct conflict of interest. Jiren simply stated the potential dangers. Yang Shengwu's expression turned grave, and he nodded seriously. I won't reveal your information to outsiders. Jiren added. The loose cultivators of the outer city are mostly dead now, so not many people know of our relationship anyway. After watching Yang Shengwu leave, Jiren thought of another good friend. I wonder how Yang Bingzi is doing? So far, there had been no news from him, his life or death was unknown. He sent out a sound transmission talisman. It didn't fly erratically like a headless fly, instead, its firelight flew steadily into the distance, proving Yang Bingzi was still alive. Not long after his sound transmission talisman was sent, Yang Bingzi's reply arrived, much faster than expected. Dallas Jia, it's good that you are alive. I am waiting for you at the Heavenly Fragrance Pavilion in the inner city. Heavenly Fragrance Pavilion? Jiren left his cave and headed straight for the Heavenly Fragrance Pavilion. There were branches of the Heavenly Fragrance Pavilion in both the inner and outer cities, but the one in the inner city was far more luxurious and prestigious. Jia Ren didn't see Yang Bingzi at first. Instead, the first person he encountered was Ming Wu, the cultivator from the Ming family who had once purchased corner worm corpses from him. Jia Ren suspected Ming Wu harbored ill intentions, so he tried to keep his distance. Ming Wu, however, recognized Jia Ren, and his face turned unsightly. He had never forgotten being swindled by Jia Ren. They had agreed on a deal for a spirit turtle, but Jia Ren had stood him up, forcing him to wait in agony at Five Heads Mountain for an entire day. I didn't expect you to still be alive. I've got some old scores to settle with you. Ming Wu snarled, not bothering to hide the murderous intent in his eyes. Settle accounts with whom? A voice laden with killing intent suddenly interjected. Yang Bingzi, clad in the robe of an inner sect disciple of the Five Elements sect, glared at Ming Wu with undisguised hostility. Brother Yang. You misunderstand. Ming Wu stammered. This is the spirit turtle you wanted. He hurriedly took out 3 spirit turtles from his spirit beast bag, offering them to Yang Bingzi with an ingratiating smile. Yang Bingzi ignored the spirit turtles, his murderous intent still palpable. Clarify what you just said. Family disciples had always looked down on spirit farmers, and Ming Wu hadn't bothered to thoroughly investigate the relationship between Jia Ren and Yang Bingzi. However, since Yang Bingzi became an inner sect disciple of the Five Elements sect, his rise had been meteoric, and his status was now entirely different. He had become someone Ming Wu himself needed to please. Yang Bingzi's purchase of the spirit turtles and his current protective attitude towards Jia Ren clearly demonstrated that the relationship between the two was far from ordinary. My words were nonsense, just nonsense. Please don't take offense, Brother Yang. Ming Wu babbled, then slapped himself hard twice across the face, leaving clear red palm prints on both cheeks. Get lost. Yang Bingzi commanded. He casually tossed a storage bag to Ming Wu. Forcing a smile, Ming Wu only dared to leave after Jia Ren and Yang Bingzi had entered the Heavenly Fragrance Pavilion. Once they were inside a private room in the Heavenly Fragrance Pavilion, Yang Bingzi began to explain. Don't blame me for not avenging you by dealing with him more harshly. Ming Wu has the Ming family backing him. If you wound a tiger but don't kill it, it will inevitably become a future menace. The Ming family wouldn't dare act against me, but they might target you, Taoist Jia. I can't guarantee your complete safety in such a scenario. It's a minor matter between Ming Wu and me, nothing serious. Jia Ren replied. With Yang Bingzi's clear warning, Ming Wu wouldn't dare to provoke me again unless he was a complete fool. Taoist Jia, it really wasn't easy to find you. Yang Bingzi continued. The Five Elements sect had a major battle with Thousand Beasts Mountain, and I used my battle merits to obtain an exemption from participation for you, but I couldn't contact you at the time. Jia Ren wasn't surprised. While he was in hiding, he had constantly been using the turtle breath technique, which would have prevented any sound transmission talisman from locating him. He silently acknowledged Yang Bingzi's thoughtfulness and effort. Knowing you're still alive puts my mind at ease. Yang Bingzi said, clearly moved upon seeing Jia Ren again. Jia Ren observed his friend. Compared to the somewhat simple and honest spirit farmer aura he used to have, the current Yang Bingzi exuded a calm, steady presence, and a sharp light flickered in his eyes. His cultivation level had also improved considerably, already reaching the 6th layer of chi refinement, placing them both in the same realm. I heard you were looking for spirit turtles. Yang Bingzi continued. When I found out the Ming family still had a few, I leveraged my status as a Five Elements sect disciple to get them to sell the turtles to me. He then handed a spirit beast bag to Jia Ren. 3 spirit turtles. What a pleasant and unexpected surprise. Chapter 62, Soul Binding Restriction. Taoist Yang, how many spirit stones for the 3 spirit turtles? Purchasing spirit turtles is difficult, and even if Taoist Jia wishes to buy them, the Ming family might not sell. After the incident with Ming Wu, he dared not approach them rashly. Just as Taoist Jia was about to take out the spirit stones, he was stopped by Yang Bingzi. Life as a loose cultivator isn't easy, keep the spirit stones for now. With the unexpected profits from the sect warfare, I'm not lacking in spirit stones. The Five Elements sect has inheritances in formations, alchemy, artifact refining, and talisman crafting. To learn them, one not only needs to contribute to the sect but also has to pass a talent test. Unfortunately, I have no talent and can't learn the 4 arts of cultivation inheritance. Not long ago, we annihilated a sect that was a vassal to Thousand Beasts Mountain, and I saw an alchemy inheritance. But it's a pity I couldn't compete with my fellow senior sect brothers. The person was unwilling to make a copy, which is very regrettable. I heard that a fellow sect member has an artifact refining inheritance. If things go smoothly, I should be able to purchase it for you. Yang Bingzi hadn't forgotten what he had promised Taoist Jia. Half a year had passed, and he still hadn't obtained the 4 arts of cultivation inheritance, making him feel ashamed. The disciples of the Five Elements sect indeed have access to a wide range of information. They have opportunities to come into contact with the four arts of cultivation inheritance both inside and outside the sect, far beyond what loose cultivators could compare with. The only regret is not acquiring the alchemy inheritance. An alchemy inheritance is much better than those of talisman crafting and artifact refining. The 3 spirit turtles aren't cheap, and you will still need to plan for the artifact refining inheritance. You might have to spend a fortune in spirit stones to compete for it, and being just a little short may cause you to miss out on the artifact refining inheritance. The price of monster beast meat isn't cheap. At current rates, 3 spirit turtles could sell for at least 200 spirit stones. This is not a small sum even for a 5 Elements sect disciple. Yang Bingzi will also be competing for the artifact refining inheritance soon, which is precisely when he is in the greatest need of spirit stones. Don't worry, I will do my utmost to help you secure the artifact refining inheritance. Thinking of the expense to compete for the artifact refining inheritance, Yang Bingzi didn't refuse the 200 spirit stones Taoist Jia handed him. The dishes were served, including well-presented stir-fried spirit bamboo shoots, roasted spiritual beast meat, simmered medicinal meals, and jade carp soup, a total of 6 dishes and 4 soups. The ingredients had been specially processed, offering a feast for the eyes, nose, and palate. The spirit wine was superior grade, far surpassing anything brewed from mere fruits. The cost of a meal like this was not a small sum of spirit stones. Taoist Yang, is the 5 Elements sect a good place to stay? The 5 Elements sect's war with Thousand Beasts Mountain is brutal. It's good that you made it back alive. After several rounds of drinks and a variety of flavors tried, Taoist Jia began to inquire about Yang Bingzi's recent experiences. The social hierarchy within the 5 Elements sect is distinct. The threshold for becoming an inner sect disciple is the Qi Refinement 7th level. My promotion was an accident, and I'm originally from a spirit farmer background. Outsiders might see it as glorious, but in reality, I face disdain everywhere within the sect. Yang Bingzi was not doing well in the 5 Elements sect and hadn't made any close friends. Apart from Taoist Jia, it was difficult to find a second person to confide in. Once the floodgates of conversation were open, it could no longer be stopped. The locations assigned in the sect wars are also in dangerous areas. I've narrowly escaped death several times. If it weren't for the body refining techniques picked for me by the transmission hall that suited me exceptionally well, and my rapid improvement in strength, I fear I wouldn't be alive today. Life is hard for loose cultivators, and the days for ordinary sect disciples are no walk in the park either. Taoist Jia consoled him. The late-stage Qi refining is a watershed. As long as you can cross it, the future is bright. Even at its worst, it's far better than being a loose cultivator. 5 Elements sect disciples have the backing of their sect's prestige, and their status is different. If Yang Bingzi were still a spirit farmer, why would Ming Wu give him any face? Being a spirit farmer is truly miserable. With the spirit field burnt and the harvest gone, life gets even tougher. Yang Bingzi recalled the scene of the burning of Grand Wilderness Mountain, feeling extremely fortunate. Taoist Jia had changed his fate. Though his situation within the 5 Elements sect was not ideal, it was still infinitely better than being a spirit farmer. Don't you see how many people long to join the 5 Elements sect but are hindered by lack of access? What body refining technique does Yang Dao practice? Jia Ren thought of Yang Bingzi's mention of body refining techniques and couldn't help being a bit more curious. Body refining techniques strengthen the physique, and with deep practice, one can withstand attacks from both magic artifacts and spells without a problem. To learn a body refining technique, wouldn't it increase one's ability to survive? Jia Ren was particularly interested in any cultivation techniques and secret techniques that could enhance his ability to survive. The technique I have learned comes from the transmission hall. It is called Mixed Refining Vajra Body and specializes in close combat. At the 6th layer, I can withstand several attacks from medium-grade magic tools. If it weren't for the merit I earned related to Grand Wilderness Mountain, it would have taken at least a dozen years of sect contributions to exchange for it. Speaking of his favored technique, Yang Bingzi couldn't help but become animated. A technique compatible with one's heart, which accompanies one's journey, is crucial. I understand Taoist Jia's thoughts. Unfortunately, when the technique was passed down, the sect planted a soul-binding restriction, meaning 5 Elements sect techniques cannot be passed on to outsiders. The 5 Elements sect's techniques far surpass those learned by loose cultivators and naturally hold significant appeal to them. Without restrictions, Yang Bingzi would not be stingy about sharing these with Jia Ren. Soul-binding restriction? Jia Ren wasn't surprised. This was a method to prevent the sect's cultivation techniques and secret techniques from leaking. No one can guarantee that there are no spies from other sects among their own, or that there won't be traitors. Soul-binding restrictions are a countermeasure against the leak of techniques. I have a bold idea. Is the leakage of a technique intentional or accidental? What if you develop your own technique based on the mixed refining Vajra body? Does the leakage of a self-created technique count? Or what if you leave behind notes on practicing mixed refining Vajra body and someone steals them? Would that trigger the restriction? There are few things in the world that are perfect without flaws. With careful searching, loopholes can ultimately be found. I'm not very sure. Yang Bingzi was stunned, having never thought so deeply about it. Subconsciously, he believed that the planting of a soul-binding restriction meant it couldn't be leaked, so he hadn't come up with similar ideas. After being reminded by Jiren, it was as if a new world had opened up to him. Testing it is too dangerous, triggering the restriction could threaten one's life. Jiren was eager to test this, but the matter concerned Yang Bingzi's life. If they mistakenly triggered the soul-binding restriction, Yang Bingzi would likely die on the spot. One certainly couldn't use someone else's life for an experiment. Jiren made an excuse to use the restroom and went to pay for the spirit stones. He then learned that Yang Bingzi had already paid. The meal was not cheap, costing 36 spirit stones. The two spoke freely until the sky grew dark, and only then did they go their separate ways. I've gained quite a bit. Especially the 3 spirit turtles. Jiren returned to his rented cave dwelling, in a pleasant mood. The 3 spirit turtles exceeded expectations, signifying he would obtain a large amount of turtle spirit ointment, and his strength would make rapid progress. Once he digested the turtle spirit ointment and the elixirs purchased from the Pill Cauldron Pavilion, the chi refinement 7th level was not far away. The late-stage chi refining would signal a qualitative change in both status and strength. Jiren returned home and took out the 3 spirit turtles from the spirit beast bag. They varied in size, with the largest nearly the size of a grinding plate, weighing at least 60 or 70 pounds with its shell. The smallest one weighed less than 20 pounds. I'll start with the largest one, the smaller ones can wait. Turtle spirit ointment can't be preserved for a long time, I can't let its medicinal effects dissipate. Before returning to the cave, Jiren had bought the necessary ingredients for making turtle spirit ointment, and everything was ready. Chapter 63, Talisman Cultivators Association. Jiren set up a large pot, ruthlessly slaughtered the spirit turtle, and threw the chopped turtle meat into the pot to simmer. Before long, the rich scent of the meat wafted through the air. He activated the formation to prevent the aroma from escaping. Formations are a good thing. Setting up formations in the outer city is too conspicuous. Once I reach the chi refinement 7th level and enter the inner city, I'll set up a protective formation around my residence first. Brother Jia, I've found a stone house in the northern district, not far from where you live. Let's use it as our transaction point in the outer city. A sound transmission talisman was halted outside the formation. Jiren received it, hearing Yang Shengwu's voice. Jiren opened the cave dwelling's formation. Seeing that Yang Shengwu hadn't left yet, a storage bag was thrown over to him. Inside were blank talisman paper and materials for making demon transforming spirit ink. Brother Jia, you foresaw this trouble perfectly. Today, while purchasing blank talisman paper, a talisman master approached me, inviting me to join the Talisman Cultivators Association. I thought it was a good thing at first, but it turned out to be a trap. The talisman master said I had to give up 30% of the spirit stones from sales to be recognized by the Talisman Cultivators Association. The Talisman Cultivators Association? An organization among the talisman masters of the inner city? 30% of the profit is not a small asking price. Could this be the reason Elder Wu left the inner city? Unfortunately, Elder Wu had left too early, and there was no way to ask him. It's not 30% of the profit, it's 30% of the spirit stones. For a demon spotting talisman sold for 1 spirit stone, they immediately take away 3 fragmented spirits. Yang Shengwu explained. The price is too high. 30% of the total price and 30% of the profit are not the same thing. For a demon spotting talisman sold at 1 spirit stone, after subtracting 3 fragmented spirits, only 7 fragmented spirit stones would remain. Maintaining a 50% success rate in talisman crafting, and deducting the cost of 5 broken spirits for materials, Jiren could only earn 2 crystal shards. That was tantamount to taking away 60% of the profit. If the talisman crafting success rate is low, it could even lead to losses. This cut is lethal. Did the talisman shop that sells demon spotting talismans make its move? We loose cultivators can't afford to provoke them. Setting up a stall in the inner city would bring big trouble. Let's move it to the outer city. The outer city has a smaller circle, and hence, fewer troubles. Jiren could not confirm if the Heavenly Talisman shop was behind this, but he was certain they were involved. Having sold over 200 demon spotting talismans in recent days, he had essentially poached potential customers from the Heavenly Talisman shop. With their revenue down by 600 or 700 spirit stones, the Heavenly Talisman shop definitely wouldn't sit idly by. From now on, stability is the priority. I can accept earning fewer spirit stones. In the following 3 days, Jiren focused on simmering turtle spirit ointment and spent the rest of his time preparing the demon transforming spirit ink. Making spirit ink was much less complex than talisman crafting. With the proficiency panel, getting started was simple. After using up all the materials he had, he successfully improved the demon transforming spirit ink to master level, and the quality of his demon spotting talismans reached Elder Wu's standard. The turtle spirit ointment is ready. After 3 days of cooking, Jiren lifted out the turtle meat and extracted the creamy, beige ointment. The quantity of turtle spirit ointment had doubled from the last time, totaling 21 bottles. Time for closed-door cultivation. Without any hesitation, Jiren swallowed the turtle spirit ointment and began his cultivation. 1 bottle of turtle spirit ointment added 15 points to his cultivation level progress, 20 points to his cultivation technique proficiency level, and increased his lifespan by just over a year. I don't have much time left on my cave dwelling rental. Seeing no additional benefits from the cave dwelling, Jiren only renewed the inner city 3-day token and rented the cave dwelling for 3 more days. Setting aside all other concerns, he focused wholeheartedly on cultivation. 6 days later, Jiren opened his eyes. All 21 bottles of turtle spirit ointment had been completely consumed. His cultivation level progress had increased by 318 points, his cultivation technique proficiency level by 423 points, and his lifespan limit by 21 years. In just 7 days, he had gained more than half the cultivation level progress required for the 6th layer of Chi refinement, with the Chi refinement 7th level drawing ever closer. Yet, the most important gain was the increase in lifespan. His lifespan limit had risen from 97 to 118 years, and the upper limit of his daily skill breaking points increased. Can turtle spirit ointment be improved further? The lifespan limit in the Chi refinement realm is 150 years, so there should still be room for improvement. Jiren still had 2 spirit turtles in his possession, which together were not as potent as the one he had just consumed. Combined with the elixirs at hand, it wouldn't be difficult for him to reach the peak of the 6th layer of Chi refinement. It's time to leave. The rental price for cave dwellings was not low, and renting for too long might attract unwanted attention. Jiren went to the insect breeding room of the cave dwelling and looked at the 3 green silk worms that had not yet hatched, then turned his gaze to the exotic black mosquitoes. Have you laid eggs? Without a little pressure, you won't know to work harder. In the spiritual liquid cultivating the exotic black mosquitoes, he could see countless slender eggs, numbering over 100. Most of them were viable, not dead eggs. Jiren finally had exotic black mosquitoes that truly belonged to him. Not bad. It's time to send you on your way. With the exotic black mosquitoes having laid their eggs, their value was exhausted. Jiren dared not keep them by his side, lest the mosquito Taoist take the opportunity to come knocking. Spirit contract mark. Jiren applied the spirit contract mark to each of the exotic black mosquito eggs, imprinting them with a controlling seal. If all the exotic black mosquitoes are cultivated successfully, they could reach at least half the strength of the mosquito Taoist. Even in the late stage of Chi refinement, one could fight. This will be a trump card in battle. Taoist friend, will you renew the rental of the cave dwelling? The cave dwelling steward knocked on the door and asked as usual. No spirit stones. I won't renew. A cultivator at the 6th layer of Chi refinement renting a cave dwelling every day would certainly be seen as easy prey. I should never assume that just because the cave dwellings belong to the 5 elements sect, I'm absolutely safe. Jiren fobbed off the steward with a few casual words and quickly left. A pauper dares to rent a cave dwelling. The steward took out a small notebook and crossed off Jiren's name. I can't stay in the outer city too long. After my cultivation level breaks through, I can move to the inner city. I wonder how the demon spotting talisman business has been recently. Jiren first went to the stone house Yangshengwu rented in the outer city. Before he got close, he saw from afar that the stone house was on the verge of collapse, scorched all over, and still emitting wisps of smoke. The ground was a mess, littered with bloodstains and craters from a fight. A fierce battle had taken place here. Yangshengwu's blood? Jiren decisively sent a sound transmission talisman to Yangshengwu to inquire about the situation. A moment later, the sound transmission talisman carried a reply. It's a relief he's not dead. I didn't expect the Talisman Cultivators Association to make a move against me. I nearly capsized in a gutter. The Talisman Cultivators Association? Why would they take action? I've retreated to the outer city. Does the Talisman Cultivators Association still not wish to give me a way out? Jiren was both shocked and angry. He had originally thought that by following Elder Wu's example, selling only in the outer city wouldn't be a big problem. Unexpectedly, trouble had still found its way to him. The first day I went to the outer city to sell, I only sold 12 demon spotting talismans, the drop-off was too great. Wanting to earn more spirit stones, I contacted a few demon hunting loose cultivators to come by in the outer city. They helped spread the word that demon spotting talismans could be bought in the outer city for 1 spirit stone. More and more loose cultivators came to buy, and business gradually improved. Selling demon spotting talismans in the outer city still doesn't count as breaking the rules. But the Talisman Cultivators Association still came knocking, telling me to stop selling demon spotting talismans. I thought it was just a warning, but no sooner had I left the market than I was ambushed. If not for my many years of demon hunting and rich combat experience, I might have perished. Yang Shengwu had clearly learned his lesson. Not wanting to bring trouble to Jia Ren, he hadn't shown himself and always used sound transmission talismans to convey information. If the Talisman Cultivators Association dared to make a move, they must have sent at least a Chi Refinement 7th level cultivator. The battle wasn't as easy as Yang Shengwu described. It must have been a fight to the death. Indeed, the world of cultivators is cruel. Even retreating to do business in the outer city couldn't prevent a fatal disaster. If Yang Shengwu hadn't been selling demon spotting talismans for me, I might have been the one ambushed today. Don't sell any demon spotting talismans for now. Lie low for a while. I'll remember this grudge for now. Chapter 64, Changlegang Jia Ren, following the instructions from the sound transmission talisman, found the storage bag buried underground. The storage bag was wrapped in a worn cloth that concealed spiritual power fluctuations and was buried not long before the message was sent. Yang Shengwu hid in a dark corner to observe, ensuring no one would have the chance to secretly dig it up. Upon opening the storage bag, it contained 135 spirit stones and 5 broken spirits, the income from selling 150 demon spot talismans. After deducting the cost of talisman crafting, Yang Shengwu took away a profit of 15%, totaling 13 spirit stones and 5 broken spirits, with the remainder being used to pay off debts. For the sake of 27 spirit stones, Yang Shengwu was willing to fight to the death with the late-stage Chi cultivator. Jia Ren felt as if every spirit stone was stained with blood, leaving a bitter taste in his hand. Talisman Cultivators Association, I will remember you. Jia Ren returned to the stone house where he had lived for a long time. After being away for 10 days, the house had been visited by thieves. Not to mention pots and pans, even the stone table used for talisman crafting was gone, taken by someone unknown. The world has declined, and people's hearts are not what they once were. Jia Ren had anticipated this, so there had been nothing of value at home. With a simple cleaning spell, he tidied up and took out the backup supplies prepared for a quick escape. Everything had returned to the state it was in before. It is time to make turtle spirit ointment. Jia Ren slaughtered a spirit turtle, placing the meat in a pot to simmer. While waiting, he did not sit idle but swallowed a great origin pill to cultivate. The production of demon spawn talismans was temporarily halted as he focused more energy on improving his strength. His goal was to break through to the late-stage Chi refining as soon as possible, as greater strength was the best guarantee of safety. After digesting the Great Origin Pill, he switched to taking Spirit Bud Elixir. The Great Origin Pill is good, but it can have an impact on the meridians. The key is still the Turtle Spirit Ointment. 3 days flew by in the blink of an eye, and Jia Ren dismissed those loose cultivators who came knocking on his door under the guise of forming connections, looking to moot off some meat. Before the Turtle Spirit Ointment was successfully made, he couldn't bear to eat even a bite of the meat, much less to give it away cheaply to outsiders. The path to cultivation is long and arduous, fellow Taoist. How can you endure the lonely nights? Fellow Taoist, this humble woman has a bliss pill and wishes to share it with you. A woman in her early 30s of dignified appearance knocked on the door of Jia Ren's stone house at night. Bliss pill? That was no ordinary elixir. Jia Ren was not a novice in the cultivation world. One must not carelessly consume elixirs. In the past, to save his own life, he had taken a burning spirit pill, overdrafting more than 30 years of his lifespan. It was only through cultivating the turtle spirit technique and consuming a large amount of turtle spirit ointment that he managed to barely recover. Not all elixirs are beneficial for enhancing cultivation level, recovering from injuries, or replenishing spiritual power. There are also poison pills, evil pills, and wasteful pills. Ascension pills, bliss pills, longevity pills. Pills with grand names that claim to be elixirs of immortality are often forbidden pills. Forbidden pills usually come with a strong addictive quality, similar to drugs, and once one becomes addicted, it is hard to break free. Many unscrupulous loose cultivators often use these pills to control others. Beyond that, there are also significant safety hazards. Alchemists disdain to concoct such inferior pills, which are often made by rogue practitioners who haven't reached the threshold of alchemy, lacking any assurance of quality, with a high number of wasteful and substandard pills. Consuming such pills could be described as a slow suicide. During Jiaren's 10 or more days in the Great Wilderness Market, Elder Ma, who had came to peddle ascension pills, died right at his doorstep. The killer had been poisoned by the ascension pill, unable to make any progress in his cultivation. Fellow Taoist, please do not disturb my cultivation, you may go now. Jiren, with the lessons of the past clearly in mind, was neither overly polite nor receptive. Why must you be so merciless? How am I, a weak woman, to spend the long night alone? As the female cultivator spoke, her voice took on a seductive tone, tugging at one's heartstrings. Jiren couldn't help but become distracted, a strong desire for a dual cultivation arising within him. Swallow the blissful and ascend to bliss with me. With a charming smile on her face, the female cultivator opened the door to the stone house, rushing in with a pink pill in hand. Boom. The explosive trap was triggered, and although the female cultivator's face still bore a seductive smile, her body was launched into the air. Having lost the influence of the charm technique, Jiren quickly regained his senses and suppressed the impulsive thoughts stirring within him. She used charm techniques to deceive me into consuming a poisoned pill? This was an attempt on my life. Considering the possibility of his cultivation level being unable to progress and the Great Tao becoming unattainable, Jiren could not conceal his murderous intent. An obstruction on my path, I shall kill. You're seeking death. Jiren looked at the female cultivator, who was scorched all over, lying on the ground and wailing. A burst of golden light shot out from his fingertip. Caught off guard by the explosion trap, the female cultivator was pierced through the head by the golden light before she could utter a word. He quickly snatched the storage bag from the female cultivator's waist and placed her corpse inside. Uncertain whether the explosion would attract Enforcement Division cultivators, he couldn't properly dispose of the body at the scene. Jiren erased all traces and waited in silence. Owing to the lack of spiritual power fluctuation from the explosive trap, the anticipated Enforcement Division cultivator did not arrive. He sighed in relief, found a secluded spot, and using the fireball technique, he destroyed the body, eradicating all evidence. After ensuring everything was completed and that no one was following him, he returned to his dwelling. Upon opening the storage bag, he found mostly female attire, rouges, powders, and other useless items. Besides that, there were 13 spirit stones, 2 fragmented spirit stones, and numerous passion flower pills and ascension pills. The quality of the elixirs was poor, filled with impurities, and they were forbidden pills. Consuming a few could mean no chance of breaking through to the chi refinement 7th level. Carrying a large quantity of forbidden pills, the female cultivator was clearly bad news. Having killed her brought no burden to his conscience, the only concern was whether the female cultivator had any powerful backers. Even if she did have backers, they belonged to the outer city and posed no significant threat. Still, it's better to be cautious. Jiren looked at the turtle meat simmering in the pot. It was almost ready, and the turtle spirit ointment was nearly complete. He skillfully lifted the turtle meat out and extracted the turtle spirit ointment. Compared to the previous spirit turtle, this second one was significantly inferior, yielding only 9 bottles of turtle spirit ointment. He packed up the items in the stone house into his bag and quickly left the area, heading for an alternate residence. She hasn't returned? Could it be that the plan has gone awry? Zhuzazi thought of the female cultivator he sent out last night, feeling a hidden worry in his heart. The success or failure of the mission was tied to the future of the Changla gang. A 6th layer of chi refinement cultivator in the outer city was considered high-end combat power, scarce in the northern city. If they could control a 6th layer of chi refinement expert with bliss pills and the female cultivator's charm technique, the Changla gang status would be solidified, facilitating future actions. He was ambitious, intending to establish a force that could become a sect, to become a sect leader himself. In the future, it might even grow to rival the 5 Elements sect. By the time, he would be the founder of his own sect. We'll need to develop more female cultivators that can be controlled with bliss pills. Lost in thought, the aroma of medicine and sounds of joyful laughter came from the back room. Haha, another furnace completed. Master Yi Dan, I must ask you to put in more effort with the bliss pills and ascension pills. A thin young man with an excited expression emerged from the back room, engulfed in the scent of elixirs. Leader Zhu sponsored my alchemy. Without Leader Zhu, I wouldn't have access to cultivation world, nor could I have become an alchemist. I will surely exhaust all efforts for the gang leader. Zhu Zazi patted the man's shoulder, his eyes full of approval. Together, we will unite the outer city of the Great Wilderness. Gang leader, there's trouble. Rouge hasn't returned, and the 6th layer of chi refinement loose cultivator on surveillance is also missing. The 2 of them, I'm afraid, may have eloped. Chapter 65, Mixed Primordial Vajra Body. Jiren changed his residence and was just about to sit down for cultivation when a sound transmission talisman flew in from afar. Brother Jia, I am not in a position to show up and sell things myself for now, lest I attract the attention of the Talisman Cultivators Association. The business of the demon spotting talisman must not be stopped, as missing the opportunity could mean earning many fewer spirit stones. Without spirit stones, how can I improve my strength to deal with the Talisman Cultivators Association? I've just had a new idea. After setting up a stall for several days and meeting a few fellow cultivators, I can reach a collaboration with them, consigning the demon spotting talisman at the price of 9 fragmented spirits. How much they can sell is a testament to their abilities. By making slight concessions, we can spread the risk. What does Brother Jia think? Having just experienced an attack from the Talisman Cultivators Association, Yang Shengwu dared not be careless and became much more cautious. In the following days, he still needed to hide to avoid reprisal from the Talisman Cultivators Association and dared not show his face. Even Yun Niang was implicated and had to hide along with him. Despite the clearly available opportunity to earn spirit stones, Yang Shengwu felt like he was being cornered like a rat, forced to hide everywhere, harboring a constant resentment. This is all my fault, even causing Jia Ren to lose his business in the outer city, he thought. He had been looking for a way to make amends, and thankfully, he finally found a solution that served both purposes. Secondary outsourcing? Distribution? Jia Ren mused. Yang Shengwu has the aptitude of a businessman, quite impressive. Jia Ren had considered similar ideas, but the market for demon spotting talismans was not large. Moreover, being actively involved would also expose his identity. It was more than suitable for Yang Shengwu to take over, adding an extra layer of protection. Distribution is possible, but the price should be no less than 1 spirit stone. Jia Ren replied via sound transmission talisman. The quality of the demon spotting talisman has improved, and its performance far surpasses that of the past, which allows for a higher selling price. Demon spotting talismans crafted with demon transforming spirit ink, combined with my master level seeking demon talisman technique. Although not quite as good as the authentic items from the Heavenly Talisman shop, the difference has become very small. According to market rates, selling for more than 1 spirit stone wouldn't be difficult. The pricing rights can be handed over to the new distribution stall owners. I don't have much stock left. Tomorrow, I will prepare a batch of demon spotting talismans for you to try and collaborate with them. All problems and troubles can be handed over to Yang Shengwu. I just need to keep crafting the demon spotting talismans, Jia Ren thought. I can start crafting the talismans now, Jia Ren thought. He picked up the white wolf hair brush, opened a box of pale red spirit ink that emanated a rich fragrance, and spread out blank talisman paper on the stone table, proceeding to craft demon spotting talismans. 60 pieces of blank talisman paper either became new talismans or were discarded on the ground like trash, maintaining a stable success rate of 60%. He rubbed his brow, feeling a sense of mental exhaustion. 36 demon spotting talismans is a bit few. I'll recover my mental state and craft more tomorrow. This batch should be enough to sell for a while. As usual, Jia Ren added wood to the stove and cultivated with the help of turtle spirit ointment. The next morning, he rose early and started drawing talismans again. Considering the need to go out and that a poor mental state could easily lead to mistakes, he crafted 30 demon spotting talismans and then got ready to leave. Jia Ren arrived near the trading stone houses and confirmed with the spirit high technique that there was no one nearby, no spies. Only then did he bury the demon spotting talismans and use a rag to hide their aura. Having done all this, Jia Ren sent a sound transmission talisman to Yang Shengwu and quickly left. In the time that followed, he mainly focused on boiling turtle spirit ointment. Aside from cultivation, he also crafted demon spotting talismans. The turtle spirit ointment aided his cultivation, and his progress was swift. In just a few days, 9 jars of turtle spirit ointment were exhausted. Jia Ren looked at the last spirit turtle, which was the smallest one. Too small, he thought. Over the past 10 odd days, he had not been stingy, feeding it all the bait-tempting technique formula he had left. The spirit turtle's weight increased slowly, gaining no more than 1 pound over half a month. The idea of fattening it up for slaughter has fallen through. The cost-effectiveness is too low, it consumes too much time and effort, Jia Ren lamented. I hope you reincarnate soon. The blade went in white and came out red. Jia Ren skillfully peeled the shell, extracted the meat, and tossed it into the pot, his movements becoming increasingly adept. 4 turtle shells of varying sizes were laid out together, the only remnants left in the world after the spirit turtle's deaths. Feels like I've become a heartless spirit turtle killer. It's all because of the turtle spirit technique, not my fault, Jia Ren mused. He had considered selling the shells, but after Yang Bingzi revealed the competition for an artifact refining inheritance, he decided to keep them. The shells were all excellent materials for defense artifacts, considered the best among same-rank materials and exceedingly rare. Becoming an artifact refiner and carrying 4 turtle shell defense artifacts wouldn't be excessive, would it? In the following days, Jia Ren simmered the last spirit turtle into turtle spirit ointment. Only 6 bottles of turtle spirit ointment? That's too few. He exclaimed inwardly. The smallest spirit turtle being reduced to turtle spirit ointment meant the quantity was significantly less than before. Still, no matter how little, it's better than none. Jia Ren tilted his head back, swallowed the turtle spirit ointment, and began his seclusion for cultivation. In less than 2 days, he had digested all 6 bottles. By then, all the turtle spirit ointment had transformed into cultivation level progress. His cultivation level had surged, and he was merely 10 odd points away from breaking through to the chi refinement 7th level. His lifespan limit had increased to 133 years, getting closer to the lifespan limit of the chi refinement realm. After consuming a few more elixirs, the chi refinement 7th level won't be far off, he considered. Taoist Jia, I have some good news. Came Yang Bingzi's voice from the sound transmission talisman that had just arrived during Jia Ren's seclusion. Good news? Could it be that he has obtained the artifact refining inheritance? Jia Ren wondered as he let Yang Bingzi in. Taoist Jia, why did you change residence again? Yang Bingzi asked, looking around. It's not easy to find you every time. Yang Bingzi knew Jia Ren was cautious, but he still couldn't understand it. With his strength at the 6th layer of chi refinement, how many in the outer city could pose a threat to him? Did you get the artifact refining inheritance? Jia Ren asked, hopeful. He had long coveted the artifact refining inheritance. If obtained, it would provide a new source of income. Yang Bingzi's face showed a hint of embarrassment as he sighed. I had a good talk with a fellow sect brother, and we had agreed on a deal for 1,000 spirit stones. But at the critical moment, another senior brother intervened. This person is backed by his family and supported by a foundation establishment expert. My sect brother, eager to curry favor and please this other person, sold it to them for the same price. I have truly let you down, Taoist Jia. Just a few days ago, Yang Bingzi had been so sure, yet now it had come to this. The artifact refining inheritance is gone? What kind of good news is this? Jia Ren thought, bewildered. Just as he was about to ask, he saw Yang Bingzi toss a storage bag his way. Is he planning to compensate me with spirit stones? Jia Ren wondered. Suspicious, he opened the storage bag and found 2 jade slips inside. After your reminder, Taoist Jia, I had an epiphany. Yang Bingzi explained. I discreetly tested your theory through a junior brother and confirmed there are no hidden dangers. The 2 methods you suggested, I've tried them both. Could it be the body refining techniques of the 5 Elements sect? Jia Ren's heart pounded. He stepped back 2 paces, increasing the distance between himself and Yang Bingzi, then pressed his forehead against one of the jade slips. Mixed Primordial Vajra Body. The other jade slip was titled Cultivation Insights for the Mixed Refining Vajra Body. The Mixed Refining Vajra Body is the cultivation technique Yang Bingzi practices. Could the Mixed Primordial Vajra Body be a body refining technique he created based on the Mixed Refining Vajra Body? Jia Ren pondered. Taoist Jia, I cannot directly transmit the orthodox cultivation techniques. Yang Bingzi said. But it shouldn't be difficult for you to deduce the true Mixed Refining Vajra Body based on these 2 jade slips. Not only that, the Blood Ignition secret method and the Battle Demon Breaking Staff technique learned from the 5 Elements sect can also be transmitted to you using a similar method. Chapter 66. The wealth begins to show hints of the dawn. Indeed, it's a pleasant surprise. Sect cultivation techniques are far superior to what loose cultivators can learn. Even with a large number of spirit stones, it's impossible to buy them. Top-tier cultivation techniques are the foundation of a sect. How could they be easily sold? Not to mention, Yang Bingzi will continue to teach me the secret techniques and cultivation techniques he learns from the 5 Elements sect in a similar way. The higher Yang Bingzi climbs within the 5 Elements sect, the more he will be able to give back to me. Many thanks, Yang Du. Integrating the Mixed Primordial Vajra Body and Mixed Refining Vajra Body's cultivation insights will take a considerable amount of time and is somewhat difficult. With the proficiency panel, Jia Ren's learning curve is reduced. I will also continue to search for the inheritance of the 4 arts of cultivation for Taoist Jia. I will not go back on my word, please be patient. Wait for me to break through to the Chi Refinement 7th level. I'll have access to higher levels, making it easier to find. After saying a few more words, Yang Bingzi hastily left. He had been experimenting with cultivation techniques lately and had neglected his own practice. He needed to make up for the lost time. Especially upon sensing that Jia Ren's aura was profound and he was not far from breaking through to the Chi Refinement 7th level, the pressure on him suddenly mounted. As a 5 Elements sect disciple, he couldn't afford to fall behind a loose cultivator in terms of cultivation level. Thank you, Yang Du. Without Yang Bingzi's help, obtaining the complete inheritance of the 4 arts of cultivation would be too difficult. Even if he managed to find the right artifact refining inheritance, it would be snatched away by cultivators from families or sects. The 4 arts of cultivation are too closely guarded, almost monopolized. Ordinary loose cultivators have nearly no means to obtain them. Sects and families control the inheritance and continuously buy up any leaked 4 arts of cultivation. Without wealth or information channels, what chance do loose cultivators have to compete? Indeed, in any world, the means to make money are always tightly held by the privileged and are not easily disclosed. Enough of that, first breakthrough to the Chi refinement 7th level. Body refining techniques will have to wait until after the breakthrough as well. Realm is fundamental, combat power came second. Jia Ren took an elixir and cultivated throughout the night. Assisted by the elixir, his cultivation progress soared. He was getting closer and closer to the Chi refinement 7th level. 3 days later, Jia Ren looked at his cultivation progress. It had reached a full 600 points. Just one more step, and he would break through to the Chi refinement 7th level. The Seeking Demon Talisman technique had also unknowingly reached master level, stabilizing the success rate of making talismans at 80%. Cultivators always choose places with dense spiritual energy for practice. The spiritual energy inside a cave is even denser, suitable for breaking through bottlenecks. When loose cultivators are close to a breakthrough, they also choose to rent caves. Uncertain if he could successfully break through to the Chi refinement 7th level this time, he didn't mind spending some spirit stones to increase the probability. To the inner city. Jia Ren traveled from the northern city market towards the inner city, stopping briefly at various stalls along the way. This was to inquire about prices and to gather recent information. He hadn't forgotten that Mosquito Taoist was still hidden in the Great Wilderness Market. Any news would allow him to prepare in advance. He had found nothing of interest on his way and was just about to leave. Then, hearing the words Demon Spawn Talisman, he looked in the direction of the voice. A burly, fierce-looking man approached a stall selling demonic beast materials and talisman paper, his demeanor threatening. You still dare to sell Demon Spawn Talismans? You've got guts. Are you seeking death? Believe it or not, I'll kill you. The man, at the Chi refinement 7th level, wasn't someone ordinary people dared to provoke. The loose cultivator selling the Demon Spawn Talismans was only at the 5th layer of Chi refining. Facing a life-threatening menace, he hurriedly begged for mercy. I won't do it again. I swear I won't sell Demon Spawn Talismans anymore. He dejectedly rolled up his stall's beast skin, attempting to leave in a sorry state. Don't be in such a hurry to leave. Take me to your boss. Otherwise, I'll come looking for you again. The burly man patted the loose cultivator's face, who, daring not to show his anger, could only obediently lead the way. The Talisman Cultivators Association is relentless, not intending to leave any way out, driven to wipe out all competition. Yang Shengwu is in danger. Jia Ren quickly took out his sound transmission talisman to inform Yang Shengwu not to show his face and advised him to stop distributing the Demon Spawn Talismans. First, I must break through to the Chi refinement 7th level. I'll settle accounts with the Talisman Cultivators Association later. Jia Ren took a deep breath, studied his emotions, and swiftly headed for the inner city. This time, he had to break through to the Chi refinement 7th level. After paying 2 spirit stones, he acquired an inner city identity token valid for 7 days and made his way toward the cave dwellings. Approaching the Tongfa shop, Jia Ren entered as usual. During his last visit to the inner city, he had bought the sound transmission technique to communicate with Yang Shengwu. Each sound transmission talisman cost 2 fragmented spirit stones. Despite the frequency of use, the long-term cost was no small sum. Do you have a secret technique to change one's appearance? Last time Jia Ren inquired, the Tongfa shop was out of stock, claiming they'd have it in a few days. Fellow Taoist, you've come at just the right time. We've just received a secret technique, the Thousand Fantasies Face. It can alter one's appearance and height. When cultivated to a profound level, even one's aura can be changed. How many spirit stones? The Thousand Fantasies Face was exactly the secret technique he needed. As long as the price didn't exceed the spirit stones he carried, he wouldn't hesitate to make the purchase. The Thousand Fantasies Face is a special secret technique. The jade slip is a special consumable type and will be destroyed after a single use. It cannot be sold multiple times, so the price is relatively higher. 100 spirit stones. The price was indeed not cheap. Many cultivation techniques didn't come close to this price. Jia Ren readily took out the spirit stones to make the purchase, then sent his consciousness into the jade slip to verify its authenticity. Does the Tongfa shop have any other techniques to change one's appearance? At the moment, this is the only one we have. It was indeed a coincidence that someone else was also looking to buy a facial altering technique. If he had not come early, he might have missed out on the 1,000 fantasies face. I'll add 10 more spirit stones. Would you be willing to part with it, fellow Taoist? Jia Ren felt the voice was familiar. He turned his head, and his expression grew strange. How could it be Wang Qian? Wang Qian no longer looked destitute, his severed right arm was fully restored. He was dressed in a robe, with a jade pendant hanging from his waist, no longer in his former dispirited state. Having not seen him for 23 days, Wang Qian had transformed from a down-and-out person borrowing a demon spawn talisman to a cultivator with an extraordinary demeanor. The change was significant. Had he made a fortune hunting magical beasts? Probably not. A cultivator at the 5th layer of chi refining would find facing even a middle-grade first-order magical beast very dangerous, not to mention his previous disability. The elixirs for healing a severed arm, purchasing magic artifacts, and still wanting to spend over 100 spirit stones on a facial altering technique. This wasn't something that could be achieved by just hunting a few low-level magical beasts. Could it be that he'd found a wealthy patroness? Jia Ren could not help but think so, as ordinary loose cultivators rarely had ways to make money. Taoist Jia? So it's you who wanted to buy the 1,000 fantasies face? Then I won't compete with you for it. These are the spirit stones for the demon spawn talisman I borrowed from you. I've just returned and was thinking about paying you back. Wang Qian took out 30 spirit stones and handed them over. That's too much. Jia Ren only took 3 spirit stones, giving the rest back to Wang Qian. He had helped Wang Qian out of gratitude for the turtle spirit ointment, a simple favor for which he expected no repayment. A favor of a drop of water should be repaid with a gushing spring. I will always remember the favor you did for me, Taoist Jia. Please, keep the spirit stones. Wang Qian was quite adamant. Now that he had come into wealth, he didn't lack these spirit stones. Then I'll accept it. After several attempts to refuse, Jia Ren had no choice but to take it. Taking the newly purchased 1,000 fantasies face secret technique, he left the Tongfa shop. Before he left, he warned using the sound transmission technique he had learned. Taoist Wang Qian, you're showing off your wealth too openly. Be careful in all affairs. Chapter 67, Chi Refinement 7th level. With Jia Ren's detection abilities, he had identified at least 3 different people eyeing Wang Qian from various positions. There were quite a few who harbored ill intentions. Wang Qian's smile froze on his face as he covertly looked back. Turning his head, he could not remain calm, his complexion turning deathly pale. The inner city was far more formidable than the outer city, and the loose cultivators were much stronger. The cultivators watching him were of no low strength, all were in the late stage chi refining. This was far beyond troubles that could be resolved by a mere 5th layer of chi refining. Believing himself to have been very cautious, Wang Qian had only purchased the resurrection pill for treating his severed arm, 2 bottles of elixirs suitable for advancing his cultivation level, and a medium-grade magic tool in the inner city, yet he was still targeted. Taoist Jia, please help me this once. I have a fortune to share with you. Jia Ren felt several gazes on his back, like thorns piercing it. Perhaps it was due to his extensive interaction with Wang Qian that a few people had started noticing him. He couldn't stay any longer, or he would also get implicated. Find a safe place to hide for a few days and leave when people are unprepared. Jia Ren discreetly reminded Wang Qian, not planning to linger. He quickly headed towards his cave. The cultivators tailing him hesitated for a moment but didn't follow, which allowed him to breathe a sigh of relief. His smile hadn't even had time to fade before it became rigid on his face. Wang Qian ran towards the cave, also intending to seek refuge there. Taoist Jia, thanks for the warning, you've helped me greatly. I found a cultivator's cave in the great wilderness. I need help, how about we share it? Had it been before, Wang Qian would have never mentioned it, preferring to enjoy the riches all by himself. Not until he was targeted by several late-stage chi cultivators did he realize how important a trustworthy assistant was. Offering help in times of danger and even warning him about being followed was enough to prove Jia Ren's good character. No one wished to share benefits while having to guard against a comrade stabbing them in the back. Besides Jia Ren, Wang Qian couldn't find a more suitable candidate. A cultivator's cave? Considering Wang Qian's change in attitude, it was likely true. Located in the great wilderness? The thought of endless magical beasts and lurking evil creatures. Too dangerous. He didn't want to venture into such a treacherous place. Wang Deu, I appreciate your kind intentions. Please be careful. Jia Ren declined without hesitation, solely focused on closed-door cultivation. Spirit stones, no matter how good, were external possessions. If it meant risking his life for them, he wouldn't consider it at all. Jia Ren spent 7 spirit stones to rent the number 24 Ding character cave residence for 7 days. After settling the spirit insects, he focused on his closed-door cultivation to achieve a breakthrough. A great origin pill was consumed, its medicinal strength flowing through his limbs and body. The turtle spirit technique circulated, absorbing the medicinal power and the spiritual power from the cave, transforming it into rich tortoise spirit energy. The spiritual power circulated through the meridians in his body but couldn't be retained, having already reached its limit. Normally, he should have progressed in his cultivation and broken through to the chi refinement 7th level. Has he hit a realm bottleneck? This was quite normal in the cultivation world, one either forced a breakthrough or waited for the right opportunity. Impoverished loose cultivators spent time and energy slowly grinding, hoping for a smooth breakthrough one day. The vast majority remained trapped at a certain realm for life, unable to break through, dying with regrets. Cultivators with abundant spirit stones had a solution, using breakthrough-type elixirs. The most renowned was the Foundation Establishment Pill, which increased the probability of a 9th level of chi refinement cultivator breaking through to the Foundation Establishment stage. Different qualities of Foundation Establishment Pills offered varying increases to the breakthrough probability. In the chi refinement realm, there were other elixirs for breaking through cultivation level bottlenecks, all sharing one characteristic: they were expensive. First, I'll inquire about the prices at the Pill Cauldron Pavilion. Leaving his cave, Jia Ren glanced at number 25 Ding Character Cave Residence, the one Wang Qian had rented. 2 days had passed, yet several loose cultivators still lingered nearby, waiting for an opportunity. Like man-eating jackals, wolves, and leopards, once they'd locked onto prey, they wouldn't easily let go. Jia Ren's departure did not attract their attention, and he made his way to the Pill Cauldron Pavilion smoothly. Taoist, are you looking for a breakthrough elixir to reach the chi refinement 7th level? The only suitable one is the Jade Yang Pill. Jade Yang Pills are perennially in short supply. As soon as any become available, they're snatched up by well-informed cultivators. In 3 months, there's the annual auction. You shouldn't have a problem buying a Jade Yang Pill then, but it will be expensive. Each one typically auctions for over 700 spirit stones. The shop assistant had heard countless similar queries and was unfazed. Too many loose cultivators were stuck at the 6th layer of chi refinement, unable to break through to the chi refinement 7th level. So what if there were Jade Yang Pills?